Ahead of a highly anticipated matchup here at Red Wilson Field.
Do I ask too many questions?
I spoke with manager Mitch Carrick.
Yeah.
We good?
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
It's a beautiful summer Sunday here on Cape Cod, and it brings an early season collision between the beasts of the East and the best of the West. The Hyannis Red Sox have surged to the top of the East Division off 8 straight wins, while the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, victors in each of their last 2 outings, stretch their commanding lead atop the West. Let's see which streak snaps first here at Red Wilson Field on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Folks, how lucky are we? Welcome Diamond Side to Red Wilson Field ahead of Hyannis and Yarmouth Dennis for the first time this season. Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash and Max Schwartzberg as always. And Max, it feels like we talk about this every night, but the Harbor Hawks continue to have success in the early innings, especially away from McKeon Park.
Well, you know what they say, Gio. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But it's a little bit of both for Hyannis. They've scored in 7 of the last 9 first innings in 3 straight. And as you mentioned, they've been playing great baseball away from McKeon Park. They are still yet to lose a game on the road.
That road record at 5-0-1, and last night, Max, in that 5-inning fog-out victory, a 5 spot went on the board in that second inning to put Hyannis up for good. And Graham, they've been great away from McKeon Park, yet today brings arguably the toughest challenge of the entire summer for Hyannis in a red-hot Y-D team.
It really is the hardest challenge. Y-D on an 8-game win streak, the best in the entire league. This team is just nearly flawless from start to finish. They have the best ERA in the Cape League, the second best average in on-base percentage, ironically, only behind Hyannis, the team that they're facing. So it's going to be an amazing ball game. We've got 2 amazing offenses, a very good defense in Y-D, and Hyannis, they're sticking around. They have the 4th best ERA in the league, so no slouches themselves, but it's going to be such a fun matchup to watch.
8-3-1 Hyannis versus 9-2-1 Y-D. Should be a good one, and I caught up with Mitch Carricker ahead of it. Giovanni Collada here with manager Mitch Carricker ahead of Hyannis and Y-D. Coach, you've got a big matchup ahead. Top 2 teams in each division. But first, let's go back to last night. Had a 5-inning victory with the fog out. What's the impact of a shortened win like that?
I mean, any win's good. You know, you'd like to play the whole 9 innings to feel like, oh man, we won a complete game there. But we'll take any win any way we can get it. But tonight will be a fun one.
You only went through 2 arms. You got an off day tomorrow. How's the bullpen feeling after that?
Yeah, it feels good. I feel like we got a lot of arms that we can use tonight. We already have a plan of what we think we're going to do, but we have some flexibility in that, which is really nice.
You told me earlier in the season that Scott Pickler for Y-D, legendary manager, is a great mentor of yours. What was some of the conversation pregame like?
Oh, man, just good to see him again and just catch up on how his season's going, how my season's going. And, we're just good friends, and so anytime we get to compete against each other, it's a lot of fun.
His team is certainly competing on an 8-game win streak coming into today. How do you stop a team that's so hot right now?
Well, we play clean baseball, and I think that's the biggest thing. We were both talking about it kind of beforehand of, how we've won and how we've lost is really just a testament to, like, can we limit the walks, the errors, the free passes? And I know we talk about it a lot, but that's kind of the name of the game up here because everybody's really good. If you give anybody anything extra, they're usually going to take advantage of it. So we're looking to do that tonight.
You got Carson Yassa atop the bump. What are some of the things you're looking for out of him tonight?
Yeah, Carson's he's a really good arm like we've seen coming out of the pen the last couple of times. So he started at school a couple of times and really looking forward to giving him that opportunity tonight. And again, consistency is going to be big for him. Attacking hitters in the strike zone is going to be important. So hopefully he can do that and give us a good chance to win.
It'll be Hyannis' 4th straight win if they can get it done. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Guys? Thank you. And Max, Coach mentioned that 5-inning victory, not ideal for him. He wanted to play the whole 9 innings and get a complete win. But what's the impact of only using 2 arms throughout a game?
Well, it opens the possibilities tonight, especially after you take into account that the Harbor Hawks had the off day before the 5-inning win last night. So there's going to be a lot of arms available that were supposed to pitch yesterday. And, of course, going into an off day tomorrow, Mitch Carricker's got a lot of arms at his right side.
Just Evan Blanco and Tsubasa Tommy atop the mound for Hyannis last night. Ray Velasquez had himself a game with an RBI single, and our Ava Fernandez caught up with him pregame.
Here with Ray Velasquez from Austin P. And Ray, you are one of the only people on this team who's actually from Massachusetts. How are you feeling about being in the Cape this year?
I love it. I used to come to the games when I was smaller, and it all seems so big, and now that I'm here, it's all kind of small, but it's nice being from here and playing in this league.
What do you mean it feels small?
I don't know. Everything's smaller. Like, we were playing on high school fields. Everything just looked a lot bigger when I was younger.
Yeah, and you went yesterday an RBI single. What has been the consistency at the plate?
Honestly, just trying to get pitches that I can handle. I've seen a lot of pitches that are out of the zone and swinging at them, so just trying to get the pitches that I can handle.
Yeah, definitely. And tonight, playing Y-D is a team that you guys haven't seen before. How do you kind of prepare yourself to coming into a game like this where you haven't faced them?
Honestly, just focus about us. Focus on what we can do and what we've been doing this whole beginning of the season to win.
Well, good luck tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ava, and we will come back diamond side here at Red Wilson Field, and we'll go through the Hyannis Harbor Hawks lineup that's going to try and compound that first inning, early inning success from each of the last 9 games. Leading off, it's Jason Walk, the center fielder, switch hitter, batting mostly from the left side so far this season. He is back in the lineup after an absence yesterday. Ryan McKay returns to the lineup in the 2 spot, the lefty playing second base. Jackson Willits slides down to the 3 hole after batting second yesterday. The shortstop is a switch hitter as well. Gabe Camacho bats cleanup, the lefty playing first base as he has in all 4 appearances now in his time with Hyannis. The aforementioned Ray Velasquez plays third. The righty bats fifth. Andrew Williamson slides down to the 6th spot. The right fielder, a lefty who's been red hot of late. Stone Lawless slots back in to the catching spot. He is batting 7th. The righty switching off now with Brody Briggs in back-to-back days. Hayden Federico, the switch-hitting left fielder, bats 8th. And it's Jeff Luigi, the DH lefty, batting 9th. And atop the bump for Y-D, it's Dylan Tate. Last appearance against Falmouth on June 22nd. Definitely a difficult start for him in just 3 innings. He allowed 3 runs to the Commodores, but put up 2 scoreless frames after that. And Graham, this is a Hyannis lineup that doesn't look too atypical, but it's got some guys that didn't play yesterday slotting back in the tune of Jason Walk and Ryan McKay.
Yeah, you really look at Ryan McKay. He was on one of the best hitting streaks, or still is on one of the best hitting streaks, but manager Mitch Carricker elected to give him a rest day yesterday, which in my mind makes him dually dangerous. It makes him more dangerous than he already would have been because now he's got a day's rest. He's ready for this matchup. He's been ready. He still took BP yesterday, so he's keeping that swing nice and loose, staying comfortable. He's going to be so dangerous. He had a couple multi-hit performances going into that off day. Has gotten a hit, I think, in all of his last 6. So he looks deadly right now. I think he's going to have a huge game.
And Hyannis has started off hot. Let's go to our producer, Sam Montag, who's got more on Hyannis' first inning success. Sam?
Well, Gio, you mentioned earlier that the first inning has been successful for the Hawks this season, and that it has. Just to illustrate for you a few numbers, the Hawks have the highest OBP in the entire league, specifically in the first inning. They're hitting .459 with an on-base percentage in the first inning. That's an astounding 170 points higher than Y-D in the first inning. But then you look at the end, that other side of the game, and Y-D really turns things around in the ninth inning with an impressive 500 on-base percentage in the ninth inning. They lead the league in that, so it really will be a question of, can the Hawks get out hot here to start? They're going to need to apply the pressure early and get on top and then hold it for the rest of the game. Back to you.
Thank you, Sam, and we will take a quick break here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network and be back with first pitch between Y-D and Hyannis here at Red Wilson Field.
That was good.
I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
I think, Dean, they're allowing you to find your own success and your own true independence.
Dean is a whole group of all different kinds of people and communities.
Since I've come to Dean, I've learned a lot of time management skills.
Our community is especially tight-knit, and the majority of our students live on campus. And you are guaranteed 4 years of housing while you attend Dean.
Dean is just full of opportunities for you to embrace, to welcome, so you can change yourself to who you want to be and form your career for the future.
So go through that, all right? Think that way.
Be a bulldog. Have a bulldog mentality in everything you do in life, whether you're playing sports or in the classroom or just socializing around campus.
Back to Red Wilson Field. Hyannis and Yarmouth Dennis almost ready for first pitch on a hot day here in Yarmouth Dennis, Massachusetts. Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash and Max Schwartzberg here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. And Max, let's revisit that first inning success that Sam was talking about. The difference in today's game very well may be who gets out to a hotter start, as Hyannis is 170 points above the Red Sox in first inning on base percentage. When you get a team with the best batting average like Hyannis has, and then a team with the best ERA like Y-D has, what are the things that can tip the scales in one way or another?
Well, I think it's going to come down to a lot of those free passes that we've been talking about. Of course, Y-D known to limit those free passes. The team 2.16 ERA to lead the entire Cape League. They are not giving up a lot of those. So Hyannis going to have to work out pesky at bats. And I mean putting up quality choices, trying to move it to the next guy and consistently put pressure on. How about taking a lot of walks? Of course, Jackson Willett's back in the lineup, leading the entire Cape League in walks at the 3 spot for Hyannis today. Just anything they can to put guys on base is going to be so crucial because Y-D, they are known to leave runners on base.
And Willett's, you mentioned, Max, batting third. He's got 12 walks to tie for the league lead in just 7 games. The other 2 players that had that many walks, Michael O'Shaughnessy of Orleans, who's played in every game this season for the Firebirds, and Andrew Wiggins of Cotuit, who's played in 10. So Willett's has done that in a very short amount of time. And to mention what Hyannis did to correct those free passes from that Orleans game into that Falmouth game, they walked 5 batters against the Firebirds on the 27th. You go to yesterday, Saturday, only 1 walk in 5 innings. Granted, there were still 4 full frames to play, but it's clear improvement from game to game, Graham.
Yeah, and they need that because that's really what was giving their opponents chances in the last 2-3 games, even in the last week or so. The walks that Hyannis pitching was allowing gave them a second breath of life. We even saw some hit batsmen in that game on the road at Orleans that gave them a second look late in the game. So they've got to clean it up. They've got to tighten it up. And like you said, a great sign yesterday that there wasn't a walk. But again, there were a lot of frames left. So we can't really take that as the new way for this team. We got to see tonight what happens.
And as Coach Carricker mentioned pregame, Graham, the lack of a complete game takes away that full picture of how many walks, how many hit by pitches. And so we'll see what Hyannis can do on that front today. In the top of the first, it's Dylan Tate warming up atop the bump, the junior out of Oklahoma, a transfer from Jefferson College in Hillsboro, Missouri, formerly at JUCO. Made 11 appearances a couple of springs ago, 63 strikeouts across 57 innings. And strikeouts were his penchant in his first season with the Sooners as well. 60 strikeouts in just 55 innings for Oklahoma. The right-hander Dylan Tate making his second start of the season. Last got out at Falmouth on June 22nd. 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, but both in that first frame. Really settled down after that. 1, 2, and 3 up here in the first inning for Hyannis, and it's the switch-hitting Jason Walk playing center field. Oklahoma on Oklahoma crime here as Walk, the center fielder for the Sooners. Tate set from the windup. He deals a first ball. Goes low and inside. Walk takes. It's 0-1. First pitch comes right at 5 o'clock on the money. 84 degrees and sunny here at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, Dennis, Massachusetts. 0-1 the count. Tate's deal. Sliced foul, third baseline. Wright drops the mask and watches it fly over the netting. 0-2.
Last time that we saw a couple of teammates square off in the first at bat of a Hyannis ball game, Matt Mura took his Hawaii teammate yard. So I'm sure that Jason Walk was hoping for a little bit of the same thing. Mura did that on the first pitch, so Walk can't match him, but there's still time for him to get a big hit.
Actually, a ball and a strike to Walk. The pitch. Drifts outside, now 2-1. Walk out yesterday, but before that, played at Orleans on Friday. It was 1 for 2 with an RBI double. He stole a base as well. 2-1. Swing, get a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That fastball really coming out well from Tate. You could see the sink on it even from here on the first base side. And it's so difficult as a hitter watching that ball just fall off the corner.
Tate's got a fastball that tops out in the upper 90s. He kicks and throws. At the knees of Walk, and it's 3-2.
Well, there it is again. Went back to it in a really good location, but an even better take from Walk.
Nobody on, nobody out. First batter of the game. The righty Tate versus the lefty Jason Walk. 3-2. Swing, get a miss, strike 3. Walk goes low with the breaking ball, and it's a first K for Dylan Tate. 1 gone here in the first.
Well, this is a much better start for Dylan Tate than his first time around against Falmouth. In the first 10 pitches that he threw against the Commodores, there was something like 3 or 4 wild pitches. He was just not finding the zone, kind of all over the place. For him to get that strikeout on a full count nonetheless, it shows that he's pretty well settled in at this point.
The lefty second baseman out of Michigan State. Here's Ryan McKay. First ball. Sliced foul over the backstop. 0-1. McKay comes back in as well after skipping yesterday's game against Falmouth. He batted second at Orleans. It was 2 for 5 with a couple of singles and RBI in the second inning. 0-1. He's tapped towards short, over on it. Carreras throws to first. He drops the ball to the first baseman, Chris Hakopian, and McKay is safe.
Well, that's going to be a single. Really tough play at shortstop by Carreras. And credit McKay for making it difficult by running it down the line, and probably was going to be safe either way. There goes the no-hitter.
Sliding dive between second and third base for Yomar Carreras. And Chris Hakopian couldn't glove the ball that skips into him at first base. 1 out, just McKay on first base after the infield single. And here's Jackson Willits. A couple of switch hitters in this top 3. Each have batted from the left side, as does the Oklahoma Sooner Willits here. His teammate Tate throws to first base. McKay dives back in safely. It's Gabe Camacho on deck for Hyannis. 2 natural lefties in this top 4, and McKay on first and Camacho in the on-deck circle. Tate moves to the stretch, holds the glove at his belt, throws back to first, and again, McKay back in time.
McKay is a threat to steal, stole the second most bases on MSU in 2025 with the Spartans. He hasn't stole as much in this season, only 2, when he got caught stealing in his last game at Orleans.
Willits still awaiting a first pitch from Tate. The righty kicks and fires. And Willits lifts this high in the air to right field. Back on it, Braden Dowd. He stops at the track and makes a long second out. As McKay was halfway to the second base bag, he jogs back to first. 2 gone here in the opening inning.
That was hit hard. I don't know the numbers on it, but coming off the bat, it sounded very well struck. Maybe just a little bit underneath it, Max. It kind of soared instead of penetrated through the air.
And Dylan Tate gets a K of walk as the first batter of the inning. And with McKay on first base, up comes the lefty Gabe Camacho. Playing first base today and batting cleanup. First pitch. Misses for a ball outside. It's 1-0 to Camacho, playing his 4th game as a Harbor Hawk today. He's been here for a while, only activated this past week, and really gets now playing time in Miles Bailey's absence for Team USA. Tate's 1-0. Sliced back foul, a ball and a strike.
That's a really good swing from Camacho. You like to see those types of hacks in the first inning. Shows the confidence in the kid batting cleanup, trying to get some extra bases, something in the gaps.
Camacho, a rising junior at UC San Diego out of Encinitas, California. With 2 outs and McKay on first. Tate nods for his sign from the stretch, now fires. Camacho takes outside. Fastball misses. It's 2-1.
Camacho had such a hot start to his season with Hyannis. Was 2 for 3 in his first game against Chatham, then went 1 for 5 at Orleans, and then 0 for 3 yesterday against Falmouth. So kind of slowing down. He needs a good hit, a big hit, Max, like you said, to get that momentum.
Tate checks it first. McKay dives back safely.
And that's why Mitch Carricker slots him in the cleanup spot. He knows he's got gap-to-gap power, and McKay got speed. So anything in the gaps, you figure Ryan's going to try to score.
2-1 count to the lefty Gabe Camacho. Before it, Tate throws to first, and it gets by Hakopian, and that'll allow McKay to take second base without a throw. A first errant pickoff move for Dylan Tate, and it's that error that allows McKay to advance.
That's what can happen the more that you check over at the first baseman. You get a little bit ambitious with those throws and the speed that you're throwing it, and I think Dylan Tate just spun around a little too quick, couldn't get his target on.
So Y-D team that did not commit an error yesterday in a 6-3 win over Wareham at Spillane Field. 2-1 is lined into right field. A sliding down makes the grab to end the inning. So Dylan Tate faces 1 above the minimum in his first frame of work. A K of Jason Walk. They leave McKay on first base. No runs, no hits, and 1 error in the field. To the bottom half of the first for Carson Yassa and the Harbor Hawks defense we go.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Time for the bottom of the first inning here at Red Wilson Field after Dylan Tate faces one above the minimum in the top half of the frame. He picks up a strikeout of Jason Walk, does allow that single to Ryan McKay. Jackson Willits and Gabe Camacho both fly out to right field. Now it's time for the team with the best record in the Cape Cod Baseball League to send the top of its order to the plate. It's Braden Dowd, the right fielder, Avery Ortiz, the DH, Chris Hakopian, the first baseman. The top three for Y-D as we introduce you to the Red Sox lineup. AJ Soldra, the left fielder, bats fourth. It's Will Gasparino, former Texas Longhorn, at the 5 spot. Will Baker, the second baseman, at 6. Garrett Wright, the catcher, at 7. Jack Bell, the third baseman, at 8. And the shortstop, Yomar Carreras, at 9. To face Carson Yasa, the 6'7" righty hurler. Fastball that topped at 99 at Catuit on June 21st, his last appearance. He got the win after 2 1/3 with no earned runs. Did walk 4, but struck out 3. Here's the lefty right fielder, Braden Dowd. And the first ball to him skips into Stone Lawless, the battery for Hyannis pitching tonight. 1-0.
Dowd coming off a great year at USC, now in the transfer portal, but helped the Trojans make their first tournament appearance since 2015.
Playing right field today for Y-D. 1-0 is tapped towards the Hyannis dugout and fell. And Yasa, his previous appearance before that win at Catuit. 2 innings against Chatham on June 17th. Only allowed 1 hit. Just 1 run in that game. It's the only run of the season for him so far. 1-1. Swing and a miss. The breaking ball dips below the knees of Dowd, who was well out ahead of it.
Those first couple fastballs at 96 from Yasa. Long, comfortable, lanky delivery. So impressive.
Stands at 6'7", 225. 1-2. Fastball in the dirt. Levels at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I think it's important to note, guys, that the last time Yasa started a game was April 2nd at Omaha during his 2025 season with Nebraska. Only went for 2 innings, so he can't really go for that long when he does start.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets Dowd on the 2-2 count with the breaking ball outside. And each of these pitchers start their outings with strikeouts.
What a filthy tunnel. We saw him start the at-bat with some fastballs at the top of the zone. And then he goes to the breaking ball that starts at the top and then falls down to the bottom. Yeah, good luck at the plate.
With such an imposing stature atop the bump as well, Yasa's got some serious velocity on that fastball. Here's the righty DH, Avery Ortiz, to face the righty from Nebraska. The first pitch is a ball inside. Team with the best average in Hyannis versus the team with the best ERA in Y-D. 1-0. Swing and a miss. A ball and a strike to Avery Ortiz.
And that breaking ball, 2984 on the RPM. Anything you get over 2,700 is considered elite. So 2984 nearing 3,000.
1 out, nobody on for Yasa. The infield shifts the righty slightly to pull. 1-1 is right down Broadway, 1-2 to Ortiz. Out of Tulsa, Oklahoma, he plays for the Cowboys at Oklahoma State. Batting .385 with a .967 OPS for the Sox so far this season. Hasn't played enough games to be qualified, though. 1-2. He's ripped towards Velasquez at third. He takes the skipping ball and throws it to first over the head of Camacho. Ortiz rounds first. He's headed for second safely as Camacho goes all the way back to the screen to recover it. And with 1 out, there's a man in scoring position for the Red Sox.
That was a really hard play. Velasquez was moving to his left towards second base and had to turn his body to square up to first base and try to make that throw while still moving kind of diagonally to it. So it was always going to be a very, very difficult throw, and he just kind of sailed it.
Now up comes Chris Hakopian. The first baseman among the more dangerous hitters in the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. They're only batting .237 in 12 games, 7 RBIs and 9 hits. And Yasa's first breaking ball to him dips low for ball 1. Hakopian on his way from Maryland to Texas A&M, joining the Aggies after a couple years with the Terrapins. Second team All-Big Ten this past spring for UMD. He batted .375. 1-0 skips into Lawless. He drops the mask as Ortiz stays put at second. 2-0.
And I remember calling a game against Hakopian back when he visited IU with Maryland, and this guy is so impressive. He is absolutely elite at just not expanding the zone, at getting hits in big moments. And it's only early in the game, but a hit could do a lot here.
1 out and a man on for the righty. 2-0. Skips into Lawless again, drops the mask, and now off goes Ortiz. Chugs into third without a throw from Lawless. And then it's 3-0 to Chris Hakopian. Ortiz advanced to second off an error from Ray Velasquez at third. He flew the head of his first baseman Gabe Camacho off Ortiz's infield single. 1 out, he's on third base, 90 feet from a first run in the bottom of this first inning for Yarmouth Dennis. Hakopian digs back in. The righty Yasa set from the stretch. 3-0. High above the letters, a 4-pitch walk for Chris Hakopian. And they've got him on the corners with 1 out here in the bottom of the first.
And trouble early on for Carson Yasa. He got off to a really hot start, got that strikeout, but I think that the error kind of not messed him up, but maybe just broke down his confidence a little bit, because you think that you just got a really good ground out for a second out, and then all of a sudden it's an error. There's a guy in scoring position, and you're facing up against Chris Hakopian.
He's on first base. The DH Avery Ortiz is on third. First pitch to A.J. Soldra is a breaking ball strike on the inner black. 0-1. Soldra, the lefty out of Orange, Connecticut, a Seton Hall Pirate, on a 5-game hitting streak entering today. 0-1. Breaking ball outside, ball and a strike. I should correct myself. 5-game hitting streak entering yesterday's game at Wareham. Pinch hit for Jason Bold, the catcher, and struck out. Leads the team in OPS over 1,200. 1-1. Fastball outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. With 1 out, runners on the corners, it's Chris Hakopian on first and Avery Ortiz at third. The infield, short of Gabe Camacho at first, shifts the lefty to push. Velasquez all the way down by the infield grass at third. 2-1. Swing and a miss. Looping breaking ball, and well out in front of it was Soldra, the left fielder. 2-2.
And there's that high RPM pitch. Just in case you guys don't know, the more RPM, the more revolutions, the more it looks like a fastball, which is why it's so much more difficult to decipher the difference.
Soldra digs into the lefty box. Yasa's got his sign. 2-2. Off goes the runner. Swing and a miss for strike 3. The throw down to the plate. Double steal attempt is in time. Strike him out, throw him out for Carson Yasa. And that's how the first inning ends, with a scoreless frame for the 6'7" righty out of Nebraska. We head to the second as Y-D gets 1 hit but strands 1 runner in Hakopian. We head to the top of the second inning here at Red Wilson Field.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
But that's not the biggest mistake. Back at Red Wilson Field, time for the top of the second inning between Y-D and Hyannis. An eventful first half frames, but not on the scoreboard, folks. It's 5, 6, and 7 due up for Hyannis, beginning with the righty third baseman Ray Velasquez. But in the bottom half of the first, Carson Yasa flanked a couple of strikeouts with a single from Avery Ortiz. He got to third base on an error from Ray Velasquez. Tried to steal home plate on a passed ball after Stone Lawless had it skip into him. Chris Hakopian begins the double steal. He's safe at second. Carson Yasa strikes him out and throws him out to get out of the inning unscathed. And now a chance for Ray Velasquez, the righty third baseman, against the righty hurler for Y-D in Dylan Tate.
Those last two batters for Hyannis, and Jackson Willits and Gabe Camacho, had really hard hit balls. Camacho flew out to right, and Willits flew out to right. Camacho kind of had that liner that nearly dropped in front of Dowd in right field. So they were making good contact come end of the first inning. They just got to get it in the right spots now.
The righty Velasquez, first pitch. Skips into the catcher Garrett Wright. 1-0 to the Austin P. Governor. Velasquez batting fifth for the second consecutive night. But instead of playing third, he DH'd. 1-0. Another low ball, and 2-0 to Ray Velasquez.
And he's restarting a pretty impressive hit streak. He started the season on a 5-game hit streak for Hyannis. Now has 2 in a row. He went hitless in back-to-back games in the middle of the season so far, I guess you could say.
2-0 from Tate, chopped towards third on a hop fielded by Jack Bell. Fires to first in time for out number 1. The last 3 batters retired for Dylan Tate, and he's got the first out of the second inning.
And despite the ground out, I think the message is still the same for Ray Velasquez, and he's kind of refinding his groove. 2 for 3 at Orleans, 1 for 3 yesterday in a shortened game against Falmouth. He's starting to look a lot more comfortable at the plate than he was in those 2 hitless games.
Now the rising junior, Andrew Williamson. The first ball from Tate, a strike on the inner corner on the fastball, 0-1. Andrew Williamson at UCF and a native of St. Petersburg, Florida. The right fielder swings it from the left side. From the windup, Tate's got the glove at his face. Now he throws. Swing, get a miss. 0-2 to Williamson. With 1 out, nobody aboard in this top of the second inning for Hyannis. Still a scoreless affair here at Red Wilson Field. Tate comes set. His 0-2. Breaking ball, low at the knees. Ball and a strike, 2 strikes to Andrew Williamson.
And right after Williamson turns to his dugout, gives a little sign saying, yep, that was the breaking ball. He's so good at that, so consistent with giving tips to the dugout.
1-2. It's lifted down the third base line. Soldier was shaded towards left. A long run into foul territory. He makes the grab for the second out. Probably had to run 100 feet from the left center field alley all the way to where the bullpen is on the third base line here at Red Wilson Field. It's a long run for a second out in the top of the second.
Well, usually when a left-handed hitter is up, the left fielder plays by the line. That was not the case, as you mentioned, Gio, playing more pull side. All 3 outfielders shifted in that way in an impressive running grab.
Now a righty in Stone Lawless, the catcher out of Tennessee, with 2 outs and no one on. The pitch is a strike on the inner corner with a fastball, 0-1. Lawless, a rising redshirt sophomore for the Vols. His first start at Orleans on Friday, went 2 for 3 with a double in his first at-bat. Scored a run after being intentionally walked, 0-1. Fastball misses inside, similar spot, but it's a ball and a strike to Stone Lawless.
Lawless came into the season on a little bit of a dry spell. He went hitless over his last 2 in his last season at Tennessee, but came out hot, 1 for 4 against Orleans.
1-1 deal. Sorted foul first base line. A ball and 2 strikes. And Lawless started in the Super Regional for Tennessee on June 7th against Arkansas after former Harbor Hawk Cannon Peebles suspended for jawing with the Wake catcher in the regional win against the Demon Deacons on June 2nd. 2 outs and no one on. The pitch. Check swing foul ball right back to the backstop. 1 and 2 repeated. But Lawless, Graham, as you mentioned, has got that starting experience. Got a hit in 13 of the 21 games he started for Tennessee.
It's really impressive. It's just kind of what some players need.
1-2 is lifted into right center field. Dowd is called off by Will Gasparino, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for the Oklahoma Sooner Dylan Tate. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base as we head bottom 2.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Bottom 2 here at Red Wilson Field. It's still a scoreless affair between the top teams in the West and East divisions. For the former of those two squads, Hyannis at 8-3-1. They're nearly 3 games clear of Falmouth, the opponent it defeated last night at McKeon Park, who's at 5-7. Y-D in the East on an 8-game heater coming into the day. They're at 9-2-1 and 2.5 games ahead of the Brewster Whitecaps at 7-5. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Scott Pickler and Y-D. Beginning with Will Gasparino, then to another Will and Will Baker, the second baseman. Garrett Wright, the battery for Y-D pitching today, bats 7th. And for Carson Yassa atop the bump, it was 2 above the minimum, but a strike him out, throw him out, Graham, for a double play to end the first.
It was pretty sweet. I was surprised when Lawless, the catcher, jumped up to try to gun down the base runner in Hakopian, but clearly a good choice when Jackson Willets can fire one right back at home and get that out.
Yassa's first pitch to Will Gasparino is a strike with the fastball, 0-1. This a tall matchup. 6'6" Will Gasparino, 6'7" Carson Yassa pitching to him. And Gasparino, the Los Angeles native, in the transfer portal out of Texas. 0-1 from Yassa, drifts inside, a ball and a strike. Gasparino moving on from the Longhorns after he batted .242 for Jim Schlossnagel this season, 8 RBIs in 1 game against Missouri early March. Swings at the 1-1, it skips into Stone Lawless. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gasparino.
That's one of those nasty pitches from Yassa. Starts dead center and then just dives seemingly at the last second. It bounced right by the plate, but it started so dead center.
Yassa's 1-2. Breaking ball just misses the inside corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gasparino's dad is the VP of Baseball Ops for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And his son Will, a standout at Harvard Westlake in LA. Swings at the 2-2 and down he goes. It's already a 3rd strikeout of the outing for Carson Yassa. 1 away here in the bottom of the 2nd.
And a really good response from Yassa after that infield error and then walk to Ortiz and Hakopian. Gone strikeout. His last 2 batters after that. It's impressive. It's an impressive bounce back.
And here's the lefty second baseman Will Baker, sophomore infielder out of Georgia Tech. Nobody on and 1 out. The pitch. It's lifted 3rd base line, drifting foul, and it's out of play. So 0-1 to Will Baker, who's a native of Queensland, Australia, coming from a long way away to stay after playing at Georgia Tech this past spring and to stay for the summer on the Cape. He's batting .175 through 7 games. 0-1 sails above the letters, a ball and a strike. Batted .263 in his freshman season with the Yellow Jackets. 26 RBIs and 99 at-bats. A rising sophomore. Yassa's 1-1. Skips into Lawless, and that got off the umpire Federico De Jesus. He drops the mask and skips around, and now he takes a walk towards Carson Yassa. to personally hand him a new baseball.
It's giving professional courtesy because that one also got a piece of Lawless. So giving the Hyannis backstop some extra time, and very respectful exchange right there.
He scrapes the dirt off the dish with his left and right feet. Now walks back behind Lawless, who resets in his crouch and gives his sign to his righty hurler Carson Yasa. The lefty Baker at the dish. Nobody on, 1 out. He comes home. Another pitch above the letters. 3 balls and 1 strike to Will Baker.
I feel like Yasa starts to lose a little bit of his command when he starts to paint a little too hard. He's really trying to find those corners right now, and it's missing kind of badly. If he just sticks to using the tunnel, I think that's when he does his best.
His 3-1. Fouled back to the screen. Full count at 3-2.
And that was a heater pretty much dead center. And fortunate that Baker was kind of underneath it, because that's the pitch that can go real far off the bat. But it speaks to what I think works, is if he uses that pitch right down the heart and now tunnels it with one of those incredible breaking balls that starts in the same plane, it's going to be really hard to catch up.
His 3-2. Skips into Lawless, back to the backstop, and that's a walk for Will Baker. His 6th of the season. He's the first base runner of the bottom of the second for Y-D with 1 out.
And not a lot of those misses, very competitive. I was something that we were talking about during their Orleans game. That's why Richie Roman was so good in those first 2 innings. But then after that, those couple innings, his misses weren't very close. And that's when you get into trouble, when you can't even play off mistakes.
So with 1 out and Will Baker on, here's the 7-hole hitter Garrett Wright. The catcher for Y-D swings it from the right side. Yasa's first pitch skips in, and a swing and a miss. 0-1. Wright, one of 2 catchers on the roster, along with Jake Bold. He was at Bowling Green this past spring. He's headed to join Stone Lawless at Tennessee. 0-1, hits him on the outside left bicep, and Wright with a loud trip to first base. Now 2 on and 1 out for the Sox. That was something they didn't do all of yesterday, Graham, after hitting a couple of batters at Orleans on Friday.
Yeah, the hit batsmen, they've kind of haunted Hyannis to a degree. That's how a lot of teams have gotten second chances, like at Orleans. But I want to point out that in the 2 1/3 that Yasa last pitched at Katuitt, he walked 4 and still didn't allow a hit or a run. So this has kind of happened where batters have gotten on base via walks in the hit by pitches, and he's still been able to get out of it.
First pitch to Jack Bell, a breaking ball that clips the inner corner. 0-1 to the third baseman. Bell swings it from the left side. A native of Corpus Christi, Texas, that attends TCU. 2 on and 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Squares to bunt, and the 0-1 is outside. A ball and a strike.
And that's one of those misses that we're coming back to. Had that threat in the zone, maybe Bell tries to get it down, but he just pulls it back immediately. A ball all the way.
Bell digs in from the lefty batter's box. Yasa, with the glove at his belt, has got his sign from Stone Lawless. He takes a breath. Now the 1-1. Swing, get a miss, and it skips into Lawless. 1-2. Lawless has taken somewhat of a beating today. A couple of pitches have skipped into him. An earlier pitch to Will Baker, the lefty on second base right now, who walked earlier, forced Lawless to take a lap around home plate. Yasa set from the stretch. A 1-2 count to Bell. Appeared back at second. Now he comes home. Breaking ball sliced foul behind the Y-D dugout on the third base line. 1-2.
And really surprising that they've put Bell in the 8th spot. He's got the 3rd best team average at this point at 333. You'd think maybe bump him up a little bit or put him in the 9th spot and make him a second leadoff guy.
The sophomore's got just 3 games played this summer. 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and that 333 average. Runner at second, Will Baker dancing, but the 1-2 comes in, and it's a ball. So a level count to Jack Bell, with Garrett Wright at first after he was hit by a pitch, and Will Baker walking before that. Will Gasparino struck out to begin this bottom of the second inning. Still no score. 2 on and 1 out. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Yasa's got his 4th K. All of them have been swinging. And there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the second with 2 on.
This inning looking eerily similar to the last in the sense that those middle hitters have gotten on base and they're surrounded by 2 Ks. Yasa, again, he didn't allow a hit in his last appearance against Katuitt. Walked 4, was still able to get out of it without a blemish on his record. So this is just kind of what's happened for the lengthy right-hander in his first couple starts.
Rising sophomore out of Rutgers, Yomar Carreras, batting from the left side. First pitch to him is swing and a miss of the breaking ball, 0-1.
Well, on that Bell strikeout, 3,000 on the spin. That golden number that the scouts all love.
That's on the RPMs, and anything over 2,700, Max, as you said earlier, considered elite, so that is ridiculous. 2 on, 2 outs, the pitch. Skips into Lawless. No blemishes this time, a ball and a strike. Yomar Carreras at Rutgers and a native of North Brunswick, New Jersey, where the Scarlet Knights campus is located. 2 RBI double in the 3rd last night against Wareham. The 1-1 drifts outside, and Lawless picks it up. It's 2-1.
And Lawless kind of lost it. I thought there was a chance for Baker and Wright to double steal, or I guess just advance on that pass ball, but Lawless was able to find it, get it back, and threaten to throw it down.
Wright on first, Baker on second. 2 outs, Yasa's 2-1. Breaking ball clips the outer corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carreras in the 9 spot, the only switch hitter in the lineup for Scott Pickler today, choosing the lefty box for his first AB. The infield shifts the lefty slightly to pull. 2 out, 2 on, 2 balls, 2 strikes in the bottom of the second. Yasa throws it in the dirt. It gets away from Lawless, and both runners advance safely. That moves Baker to third and Wright to second, so a couple in scoring position as Carreras is down to his final strike with a loaded count.
Well, we'll see what the official ruling is, but I think that's one that Lawless should have stopped. That might be a pass ball, one that was really right there to pick, but he elected to not get down on the knees to block.
Carreras at the plate, ready for a 3-2 from Yasa with 2 outs and 2 aboard. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Yasa works himself into some trouble, but he's got 3 Ks in this inning, and that's up to 5 for the day. The Sox leave 2 on the base paths in Wright at second and Baker at third. No hits, no runs, just those 2 left on base, and no errors in the field as we flip to the top of the 3rd. Still scoreless between Y-D and Hyannis.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
If you need to dig, lift, move, grade, clear, or cut, pump, weld, clean, light, and just about anything else, dial up the rental source for the newest and the most reliable equipment in New England. Staffed with equipment and construction experts, Milton Rents, your local source.
Through 2 full frames here at Red Wilson Field, Y-D and Hyannis are scoreless, and that brings up 8, 9, and 1 to the plate for the Harbor Hawks, first in the West Division, to face the Beasts of the East in Y-D, first in that East Division at 9, 2, and 1. And their righty hurler, Dylan Tate, out of Oklahoma, going to face Hayden Federico, the switch-hitting left fielder, Jeff Lugge, the lefty DH, and Jason Walk, the switch-hitting left fielder, as Hyannis will flip the order for the first time today here in this 3rd inning of work. Graham, we talked about this pregame, that flipping the order early, a key theme for Hyannis across this 2-game win streak.
Yeah, they've done it really, really well. It feels like in the 2nd or 3rd inning, that's always where they get the chance to flip it. That's where they have been flipping it. So getting to do it again in the 3rd here, that's good, but a little bit later compared to yesterday and the day before where it happened in the 2nd inning. Unbelievable to let the leadoff guy and Jason Walk get up for a second time in the 2nd inning.
And yesterday, A 5-spot ensued once Hyannis flipped the order for that first time. Matt Mira an RBI, Andrew Williamson an RBI double. And now Hayden Federico faces a first pitch. Breaking ball skips in to the catcher Garrett Wright. A ball and no strikes to the Ole Miss Rebel. Left fielder Hayden Federico, a switch hitter, one of 3 in the lineup today, batting lefty for this first appearance at the plate. Tate's 1-0. Ripped towards second base on a hop. Carreras clutches and fires. There's one out at first. Federico grounds out, and that is the last 6 batters in a row retired for Dylan Tate of Y-D.
Only Ryan McKay has a hit at this point, which, if you look at the numbers, could make sense. He's on a little bit of a hot streak right now, but still, pretty much everyone since McKay has put it in play. They've gotten the ball off the bat. It just hasn't been in the right spots.
Here's the lefty DH, Jeff Lugie. First pitch fastball outside. A ball and no strikes to the Duke Blue Devil. Jeff Lugie just recently activated, the rising sophomore out of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Tate set from the windup, his 1-0. A fastball right down Broadway. A ball and a strike. 1 out, no one aboard for Hyannis in the top of the third. Still zeros on the scoreboard for each side. Infield shifts the lefty to Paul. 1-1. Is missiled towards right center field. The center fielder Gasparino on it. He makes the catch in shallow center field for the second down. Now 7 up and 7 down for Dylan Tate.
And this is why Y-D pitching has been so efficient this year. We mentioned that league-leading 2.16 ERA. They're able to get quick outs fast, and that really reduces a high pitch count and puts less pressure on you when you don't have to worry about getting guys on base.
Dylan Tate struggled mightily in the first inning of his last start against Falmouth on June 22nd. First ball to Jason Walk, misses outside, 1-0 to the Oklahoma Sooner. Led up 2 runs in that first inning against the Commodores, but faced 1 above the minimum for the rest of the game. And that's exactly what he's done here through 9 batters. 1-0. He's tapped down the third base line. It is a foul ball. Took 1 hop on that right side of the line, but then just dribbled over. A ball and a strike to Jason Walk.
It was trying so hard to stay fair. Walk wanted it as well. He just kind of dumped his head and was like, oh, shoot, because he hit it pretty well, and it was rifled down that third base line. It just couldn't quite stay fair long enough for him to turn it into extra bases.
The leadoff man struck out to begin the game. He digs in from the left side. 2 outs, no one aboard. Tate's 1-1. Swing and a miss. And now he's a strike away from facing 1 above the minimum for 10 batters. Seems as though that first inning in Falmouth 7 days ago settled him down for the rest of the summer. He's got the glove at his face. He kicks and deals. And Walk sends this into left field. Soldra on it. He's got the third out. 1, 2, 3 in back-to-back frames for Dylan Tate. The Oklahoma Sooner retires his teammate Jason Walk to end the top half of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base for the Red Sox. And now they'll try to torch Hyannis for the first time in this game.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind-the-scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing. And I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting. So I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Bottom half of the third here at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, Dennis, Mass. And it's Carson Yassa still atop the bump for Hyannis after a couple of scoreless frames to begin his outing. The closer last started a game in April, Graham, for the Nebraska Cornhuskers against Omaha. And now we'll look to stretch to the third inning, but he will have to face the order for a second time as it's 1-2-3 due to the plate for Y-D, beginning with the lefty right fielder Braden Dowd.
And it's going to be a tough inning, I think, for Yasa. In both of the last two, he's allowed a walk, and then also a hit batsman in the second, an error from the infield in the first. So guys have gotten on base, and now a second time through the order just makes it that much harder.
Still a scoreless affair as we go bottom three. And Yasa first to face the lefty right fielder Braden Dowd. First pitch. Fastball low and inside. 1-0 to Dowd.
And while Yasa's lit up the board with strikeouts, still not really jumping ahead on first pitches, which is hard to work out of.
Dowd started the game with a strikeout. 1-0 sails above the letters. Breaking ball in for ball number 2.
And those are both pitches that are not really close to the zone, not even inducing a thought of a swing. It's not what you want to do to a leadoff man.
Nobody out, nobody on, the 2-0. Fastball clips the inner black, 2-1. Yasa topping out at 98 so far today. He's hit a pitch over 3,000 RPM. Some serious spin. Wind blowing at the back of the batter into left field, 2-1. Sliced foul to the backstop, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braden Dowd, out of Clarkston, Michigan, currently in the transfer portal, but previously a USC Trojan. Led USC in batting average as a freshman and was named to the Pac-12 All-Tournament team in the conference's final year of existence. 2-2. Breaking ball, check swing foul towards the Y-D dugout. We'll do it again. Batted .237 for USC in that freshman season. Oddly enough, that's what he's batting through 10 games here on the Cape. 6 runs and 9 hits. 2-2. Breaking ball misses outside. A full count to Braden Dowd. Dowd leads the team in stolen bases with 5 in just 6 attempts, tied for 4th in the Cape League with 7 different players. Yasa set from the stretch, glove at his belt. He takes a breath and throws. Tap foul first base side, still 3-2.
Went to the breaking ball there on the 3-2. Wouldn't be surprised if we see it again because Dowd was just able to get a piece of it. That has been a good go-to pitch for Yasa today.
The lefty right fielder Braden Dowd steps out of the box, now digs back in, twirls his bat towards Yasa, who's got his sign. Nobody out, nobody on. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. And there's strikeout number 6 for the tall righty Carson Yasa. It's a first out at the top of the third.
And it was that breaking ball. He went right back to it, started it over the heart, and it broke well low of the bat of Braden Dowd as he swung right over the top of it. And that is a big first out. He's gotten the first out, actually, in every inning. It's been these next 2 that he's struggled against.
Still a scoreless affair here in the bottom of the third. And here's the two-hole man, Avery Ortiz. Swings at the first breaking ball, 0-1. Ortiz, the lefty DH out of Oklahoma State. Batting .385 through just 4 games. That OPS a shade under 1,000 at .967. Did not play yesterday in the win over Wareham and swings through another fastball, 0-2. Yasa looking to get past the third inning for the first time this season with Hyannis. It was his first start since April against Omaha with Nebraska. 0-2, tap foul back to the catcher. We'll do it again. Yasa, a rising redshirt sophomore at Nebraska, a native of Thornton, Colorado. I mentioned that last spring at Nebraska, 24 strikeouts and 18 2/3. Consecutive starts with 5+ inning pitch against March 11th, but March 18th. Still hasn't started since April, though. 0-2. Breaking ball, ripped towards short. It gets by Willits and into left field, and it's a base hit for Avery Ortiz. Just the second single allowed for Carson Yasa, the second of the day for Avery Ortiz, and he is aboard once again with 1 out.
And how about that? A really good swing. That time it was the breaking ball, and Ortiz was able to find it. Second time over there at first base. The first time, Ray Velasquez committed that error, which allowed him to get to first, but this time he gets that hit.
And now another difficult out, dangerous hitter, Chris Hakopian, with 1 out and Ortiz aboard at first. First pitch, fastball inside. It's 1-0. Hakopian, a native of Potomac, Maryland, played for the hometown Maryland Terrapins before transferring to Texas A&M a couple days before coming here to the Cape. 1-0. Breaking ball clips the inner black, a ball and a strike. Hakopian played for the Martha's Vineyard Sharks of the NECBL last summer. Homered in 3 of the final 5 games of the year. 1-1. Fastball at the letters, 2 balls, 1 strike. And here on the Cape, Graham, he leads the team in walks and bats .237 for Y-D.
That's what makes him so dangerous. He's able to draw walks and get himself to first, but you can't throw anything in the zone because he's got the power to take you yard.
2-1. Breaking ball at the knees. 3 balls, 1 strike to Hakopian. He's a ball away from doing it again.
In the game that I remember calling against Maryland, where Indiana played against Maryland, Chris Hakopian hit a grand slam to take the lead for the Terps pretty early on. He's just got unbelievable power.
He chops the 3-1 towards short. Could be 2 for Willits. He turns to second and throws to McKay, and that's his only out. It gets Ortiz at second base as Hakopian reaches on the fielder's choice. There are 2 down in the bottom of the 3rd.
And that's huge to get the leading lady at second base because it takes away a runner in scoring position, and especially a speedy guy in Avery Ortiz.
So Hakopian switches spots at first with Avery Ortiz. And 2 gone for A.J. Soldra. Out comes Mitch Carricker to talk with Yasa. We'll see if he replaces his righty hurler after 2 2/3 here at Red Wilson Field.
Looks to just be a conversation right now about how Yasa's feeling because Carricker hasn't made a motion down for a guy to enter. He also hasn't asked for the baseball.
There is no one warming in the Hyannis bullpen. And it looks like indeed there will be a pitching change. And it'll end Yasa's day after 2 2/3, 6 strikeouts of the 8 outs. A couple of walks, a hit batsman, and 2 and 3 singles. And we will meet the new pitcher on the other side of this break. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd, it's still a scoreless affair and the end of the day for the righty hurler for Hyannis, Carson Yasa. We'll meet the new pitcher after this.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind the scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing, and I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting, so I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Back at Red Wilson Field with 2 outs in the bottom of the 3rd. There's a man on first base in Chris Hakopian, but no score yet between Hyannis and Y-D. And a new pitcher atop the hill for Mitch Carricker and the Harbor Hawks. It's Mason Russell, the southpaw out of the U of A and a native of Mesa, Arizona. For the Wildcats this past year, he mustered a 13.5 ERA in 7 games. Just 1 start, so mostly a reliever. In 7 1/3 innings pitched, he allowed 13 hits. And he struggled in an Arizona rotation that was chock full, Graham, about a 20th round draft pick in the 2024 MLB draft out of Castile High School in Arizona to the Cincinnati Reds.
And through those 7 appearances, although the ERA is inflated, he only allowed more than 2 earned runs once. So it's not like a ton of guys came through. It was just kind of 1 appearance that really inflated it. And it was the first appearance of the season for him in February against Louisville. So I don't think that ERA really speaks to what he has in his locker. By the end of the season, he was doing a pretty good job of shutting down batters. And, I mean, you play against that Arizona team, you practice against that Arizona team, and it's going to teach you some things. So I bet he's excited to pitch for the first time here in the Cape League.
And the first victim he faces, A.J. Soldra, a lefty left fielder batting cleanup. He's got Chris Hakopian on first. And lefty Russell set from the stretch. Infield shifts the lefty to pull. First ball to him. Chopped towards second. It's booted by McKay as Hakopian was off, and he throws to first without much of a problem after that. Just one pitch for Mason Russell and one out that ends the third inning here at Red Wilson Field. We're still scoreless as it's a single from Avery Ortiz. He is eventually caught after a ground out, fielder's choice for Chris Hakopian, and a couple of ground outs, or just a ground out, ends the inning for A.J. Soldra. And we go to our producer turned sideline reporter, Sam Montag, with some more.
Well, let me tell you, Gio, Coach Carricker has one of the best problems a manager can have. He has too much talent on his team. Recently, Ryan McKay has been a star at second base. He's been starting there constantly, batting first or second in the lineup every night. But last night we saw a switch. We saw as Jeff Lugie, the Duke Blue Devil, came in, started at second, and really got things started for that Hyannis team in their big 5-run inning. Lugie, a big star, could really become something for this Hyannis team, and tonight we see him in the designated hitter spot. However, Ryan McKay is not gonna back down. The man leads the entire league in average, currently hitting .394 with the Hawks' only hit tonight. He's really putting on a show in the field, and he is really proving that he deserves this role. It's going to be interesting to see how Coach Carricker decides to start each player later in the season, and it'll be interesting to see how each player reacts. Back to you.
Thank you, Sam. And it's McKay to start the top of the fourth inning here at Red Wilson Field. After these teams, both atop their respective divisions, have traded scoreless frames through 3 innings. And the hometown Y-D Red Sox have got Dylan Tate atop of the bump out for a 4th inning of work. He'll face 2, 3, and 4 in the Hyannis order, beginning with the aforementioned second baseman Ryan McKay, then to the switch-hitting shortstop Jackson Willits, and to the first baseman batting lefty Gabe Camacho in the cleanup spot. And Max, McKay, as Sam just mentioned, prolific hitting so far this season. He broke a tie atop the league in average coming into this game with Josiah Ragsdale of Brewster at .375, now up to .394 with that single, and he's been seeing beach balls so far this season.
Well, I just love his approach. You know, bat the ball is always there, but he's really swinging at pitches he can only drive. I mean, we've talked about it time and time again about taking pitches that you can do damage with and not, going with those pitches low and away that are strikes, but only.
First ball from Tate, a fastball that clips the inner corner, 0-1 to McKay.
And on the same side of that token, there could be an adjustment here for the Harbor Hawks because no walks issued. Y-D, a 3.8 walks per 9, the best in the Cape.
0-1. Fastball clips the knees. No balls, 2 strikes.
But then you got pitches like that where they're just going right on the black, and it's tough to do a lot of damage with that. So you want to be more selective, but it's not always possible.
And Dylan Tate has faced 1 above the minimum through 10. 0-2. Fastball drifts outside. A ball and 2 strikes to McKay. McKay singled in that first inning, reached second on an error. That comes off a 2-for-3 performance at Orleans on Friday with an RBI single. 1-2. Breaking ball, got him. On the lower corner, called strike 3, and McKay rung up as the first out of the 4th inning. Just the second strikeout for Dylan Tate, but that's now 10 batters consecutively retired. 1 above the minimum for the righty hurler out of Oklahoma. And now Jackson Willits comes to the plate. If there's anyone that's going to work a walk, it's him. He leads the league in walks, tied with 2 players. First pitch, a fastball on the inner black, 0-1. Willits has worked 12 walks in just 7 games and comes into today with a 15-game on-base streak going back to his time with the Sooners. 0-1 is roped into center field. Will Gasparino back to the track. He flashes the leather and makes the out. And so far for Dylan Tate, as that's the second out of the top of the 4th inning. Against his Oklahoma teammates, Jason Walk leading off for Hyannis tonight, and Jackson Willits, who you just heard bat third and fly out. It's a strikeout, a flyout, and then 2 flyouts to Jackson Willits.
He's just been automatic, and that all comes down to peppering the zone with first pitch strikes, putting yourself constantly in the advantage counts. And that's why this Hyannis team, Gio, has had no answer.
Camacho ropes one right down the first base line, and he breaks a streak for Dylan Tate of having retired 10 batters in a row. Number 10 is aboard at first with a single.
And Camacho, playing on that same token, knows that Tate is filling up the zone on the first pitch, so he's ready to get to hacking. Goes after the first pitch, deposits it in the right field.
It's a 2-out single. It's still a scoreless affair here in the top of the fourth with 2 outs. It's Gabe Camacho on first for Ray Velasquez. The third baseman batting fifth. The righty digs in. Tate moves to the stretch from the windup. Now he deals. Breaking ball on the inner corner, 0-1. Velasquez grounded out to third in his last time up in the second inning. He bats fifth for the second consecutive day and was 1 for 3 a night ago against Falmouth with an RBI single. Tate's 0-1. Sails above the catcher right, who springs out of his crouch. Camacho takes second safely on what will be scored a pass or a wild pitch.
And off the bat of Camacho, 99 miles an hour. We've seen a couple balls hit very well against Tate. Both of Jackson Willett's flyouts, especially that first one, struck very well. Now it's all about finding holes, finding the green grass.
Tate trying to settle in. He's faced 2 above the minimum for the game. 2 outs, Camacho on second. His 1-1. It's clubbed foul behind the netting, out of play. And 1-2.
Oh, that narrowly missed a car that was on the run.
Would have had to call Safe Light Auto Repair for someone's glass. Andrew Williamson, the UCF Knight, waits on deck. Gabe Camacho at second, Ray Velasquez at the plate. 2 outs, top of the fourth, still no score. Tate looks back at second, the 1-2. At the letters, it misses. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A reverse approach so far in this count to Velasquez for Dylan Tate. He goes breaking ball, fastball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Just Camacho on second base. No score in the top of the fourth. The pitch. Tapped foul back to the catcher. And Wright watches it go by to the first base line. We'll do it again.
Uncharted territory for Dylan Tate on the hill. Still no walks on the day because he hasn't put himself in a 3-ball count yet. So we're going to expect to see something challenging inside the zone. Velasquez is going to try to get extended, hit one of the alleyways.
Tate set from the stretch. He kicks and throws. And Velasquez stays alive with a foul ball. Shot right down to his feet. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, so Velasquez has seen the breaking ball and 2 strikes. He's seen the fastball. And now it comes down to how many pitches does he need to see to get comfortable to feel that confidence to put himself in the driver's seat at the even count.
The righty from Austin P digs in. The righty atop the bump, Dylan Tate set from the stretch. He looks at second and fires. And Velasquez loops this first base side. It's foul and out of play. It's been 2-2 now for 4 pitches out of the right hand of Dylan Tate. And that pitch count approaching 40. Top of the fourth, still no score. He's allowed just 2 hits to Hyannis in this game. A 2-2 count upcoming to Ray Velasquez. The pitch skips into the catcher right. Camacho takes off for third. And no throw in from right. And now a 3-2 count to Ray Velasquez.
And this is a prime example of the further you get into an at-bat with the hitter, the more the advantage goes. Because the pitcher, Dylan Tate, he wants to really get fancy with the corners, and that's when you lose your command because he hasn't been in that high-stress situation where he's worried about a 3-ball count until now this entire game. And now we see him spike one at the backstop.
Velasquez taps the dish with his cream and black bat, now rests it behind his royal blue helmet. Tate set from the stretch. He breathes and throws. Low at the knees of Velasquez, ball 4. First walk for Dylan Tate of Y-D, and Ray Velasquez jogs to first base. Runners on the corners and 2 outs for Hyannis.
And this is where Y-D has been so good, specifically at allowing their opponents to leave runners on base. Hyannis, in the early goings, they've left their fair share on base, despite a prolific batting average, #1 in the Cape League. But Andrew Williamson, a guy who's heating up at the right time and opportunity.
The aforementioned Williamson digs in from the left side. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. First pitch is chopped towards second. Hakopian, the first baseman, tried to cut it off, but the second baseman, Baker, flips to his pitcher, Tate, for out number 3. and Hyannis strands a couple of runners at the corners. It was Camacho with a single after 2 quick outs for Dylan Tate. He goes to third on 2 wild pitches. Velasquez works a 2-out walk, but he's left there after Andrew Williamson grounds out. No runs, no hits, no errors, just those 2 guys left on base as we head bottom 4, still scoreless at Red Wilson Field.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind the scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing, and I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting, so I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Bottom of the 4th here at Red Wilson Field. Mason Russell took over for Carson Yassa after the aforementioned 6'7" right-handed starter stretches 2 2/3 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts in 8 outs. Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash and Sam Montag, our producer, filling in for Max Schwartzberg this inning as we had bottom 4 here at Red Wilson Field. Still no score between Y-D and Hyannis. A matchup that pits the 2 best teams in each division. Hyannis at 8-3-1 atop the West, and Y-D at 9-2-1 rides an 8-game win streak into this matchup and leads Brewster by 2.5 games in the East Division. It's 5, 6, and 7 due up for Y-D, beginning with the righty center fielder Will Gasparino. Stands at 6'6", 225. Mason Russell nods and throws his first pitch. Nearly hits Gasparino. He shuffles out of the way of the breaking ball. 1-0.
And you mentioned the win streak. Over the 8 games, 4 of them were 2-run or fewer games, meaning Y-D won by 2 or fewer runs. That is so impressive. It wasn't all blowouts. They were close games.
1-0 from Russell, misses outside, 2-0.
And those are the type of things, especially later in the season, that are really going to come into play. It's those things that are going to give teams an advantage going into playoffs.
Russell out of Arizona, his 2-0 pitch. A fastball right down Broadway, 2 balls, 1 strike. And Russell struggled mightily for the U of A, just a sporadic number of outings. 13.5 ERA, 2-1. Swing and a miss from Gasparino. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Looping, go ahead, Graham.
He's coming into a tough part of the order, though, and so far he's handling himself. 2 really good strikes, and this at-bat got Soldra to ground out pretty quickly.
2-2. Breaking ball skips into Stone Lawless. A full count to the 5-hole Will Gasparino. Gasparino, a native of Los Angeles. Moving on from the Texas Longhorns, entered the transfer portal just before arriving on the Cape. 3-2. Breaking ball upstairs, and Gasparino works a full count walk to begin the 4th inning.
3 straight breaking balls there, all missed the zone. Really kind of an interesting call there. Russell deciding to go back-to-back to those breaking balls. We'll see if he changes it up here against Will Baker.
So 1 on and no 1 out for Will Baker, the lefty second baseman. We're in the bottom of the 4th at Red Wilson Field. Still no score between Hyannis and the hometown Y-D Red Sox. The lefty Baker digs in. Russell atop the bump, peers at first and fires. He squares to bunt and taps it down the third base line. Takes a weird hop for Velasquez, who watches it dribble over the third base line, foul. And it looks like Baker's going to stay at first base as the home plate umpire Federico De Jesus gives the ball to Mason Russell. And indeed, Baker will come back, as does Gasparino from second.
It was a really good bunt. It was right down the third base line, but it hit the lip of the grass right before it turns into dirt, and that kind of pushed it left, and it already had some leftward spin, so that didn't really help out Baker, but it was a really well-done bunt. I thought it was going to be perfect.
And well done by Ray Velasquez. They're able to read the spin, understand where the ball was going, and be able to hold off to call it a foul.
Gasparino at first, Will Baker at the plate, the lefty. Mason Russell takes a breath, now fires. And he slaps the 0-1 past the diving McKay into right field. Gasparino, a wide turnaround second. He chugs into third safely as in right field, Andrew Williamson muffed the ball as he tried to transfer it to his mitt. And a Y-D has him on the corners with no one out here in the fourth.
Well, this is a little bit of a different look for Hyannis pitching compared to the last couple innings. It was strikeout, strikeout, strikeout to the first batter for Yasa, and then Russell deals that walk in a single. He's got to lock back in. There are no outs on the scoreboard. This is a really tough scenario to be in, and this is potentially his only inning. He really needs to step up here and get an out.
The Arizona Wildcat atop the bump. It's Garrett Wright, the righty catcher at the plate. The first ball skips into Stone Lawless, who fields it off his pad. A ball and no strikes.
And Wallace has done a great job back there all night long, but now especially it's going to be crucial for him to keep the ball in front in this situation.
Right, the incoming transfer to Tennessee at the plate. Russell's 1-0. Is chopped towards short, cut off by Velasquez, and that boots it back to Jackson Willitson left. Gasparino's in to score. Baker takes the turnaround second, and he steams into third base. It's an RBI single off the glove of Ray Velasquez for the catcher Garrett Wright. 1-0 Y-D here in the bottom of the fourth.
And that was just kind of unfortunate for Hyannis. Velasquez tried to make the play. It went off his glove, and then there's nobody covering third base, so Baker had the greenest light that he could possibly have to chug around second base and get into third standing up. Russell realized it a little bit late, and he couldn't go over and cover the bag.
That's right. Mason Russell, with a slight lapse in judgment there, almost fell asleep on the mound watching the play. He really needed to get over to third and cover the bag. That'll cost him an extra base there.
And it'll cost the Hyannis Harbor Hawks a first run of this game. Y-D finally breaks the seal. 1-0 lead for the Red Sox here at Red Wilson Field, and still nobody out and runners on the corners for the lefty Jack Bell. Pitching coach Blaze Martinez leaves the mound after a brief visit with his lefty Mason Russell, who takes a breath from the stretch, holds the glove at his chest, peers at first, now Thriers. Squares to bunt, Bell watches a breaking ball drift outside, a ball and no strikes.
And so now is really one of those moments where the Red Sox can play small ball and get ahead. You saw that bunt showed. They can really take advantage with 0 outs here in the fourth.
Russell down 1-0. The lefty Bell digs in and slices the deal foul over the netting. A ball and 1 strike. Jack Bell out of Corpus Christi, Texas at TCU made 39 starts in his freshman season and started 28 of them at third, 9 at second, 2 at short. He played all around the infield. 1-1. Swing and a miss. He fooled ahead on the breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Runners on the corners for the Red Sox with nobody out. It's 1-0 Y-D in the bottom of the fourth after Garrett Wright's RBI single. He's on first base. It's Will Baker on third. 1-2. Breaking ball at the letters. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And I kind of expect Russell to go back to the fastball. The last time he used it, just blew it right past Bell. It was a really good pitch. And so I feel like if he goes right back to the heat, that could be the first out of the inning.
It's Mason Russell atop the bump for Hyannis. The lefty looks at first, now comes home. And Bell stays alive with a slice foul ball back to the netting. We'll do the 2-2 over again.
And it was the heat. He went right back to the fastball. It was just this time Bell was able to keep up with it. Lower in the zone, interestingly. The first fastball was a little bit high, and then Bell just whiffed.
Bell digs in, lefty on lefty, 2-2. Tapped towards second. It gets by McKay and into right field. Baker's in easily to score right with a wide turnaround second. He chugs into third, and Y-D is pouring it on here in the bottom of the fourth. It's an RBI single for the third baseman, Jack Bell, and a 2-0 Red Sox lead.
And that's just an unfortunate play there for the Harbor Hawks. Good pitch made there by Russell, but just weak contact to a good spot, and sometimes that's just how baseball is. You find a gap, and right there, it pays off dividends for Jack Bell.
And now Mason Russell in danger of flipping the order again for the Red Sox. It's Yomar Carreras, the 9-hole man. The switch hitter batting righty. First pitch to him. Breaking ball that skips into Stone Lawless at the battery. A ball and no strikes to Carreras. Still runners on the corners and nobody out, as Wright moved to third on the RBI single from Will Baker, or from Jack Bell rather. It scored Will Baker. A 2-0 Red Sox lead in the bottom of the fourth. Russell's 1-0. It's chopped towards Velasquez. He fields to the backhand, fires a second for one. McKay on the first. It's a twin killing. So Hyannis gets the first 2 outs of the bottom of the fourth inning, all in one play, as Yomar Carreras grounds into the double play, 5-4-3.
And that was the best possible thing that could happen for the Hyannis defense there. They trade the run for 2 outs, and suddenly they're back in a situation that Russell can handle by himself. He's now one-on-one. He doesn't have to worry about base runners. That's going to be crucial for him.
The run does come across with Garrett Wright scoring. And a first pitch breaking ball misses upstairs to Braden Dowd as Y-D flips the order now with a 3-0 lead. 3 straight singles. Grounded to the double play for Carreras, but he's the sacrifice. 1-0 is ripped towards first. Picked up by Camacho as he drops to the knee and ends the inning on first base. Mason Russell surrenders the first 3 runs of the game on 3 straight singles from Y-D. All 3 of them RBIs from Baker, Wright, and Bell, but it's a double play from Yomar Carreras and a ground out from Braden Dowd that ended the damage for Hyannis. It's 3-0 Red Sox headed to the 5th here at Red Wilson.
When it comes to delicious food, the best place to start is with great appliances. And Cam Appliances is your one-stop shop for any budget with brands like Thermador, Viking, Bosch, GE, and so much more. Cam Appliances, sales, delivery, installation, and service in the heart of your home with locations in Hyannis, Nantucket, and Hanover.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
We go to the 5th at Red Wilson Field, and it's a brand new score to start the top of a new frame. It's 3-0 Red Sox over the Hyannis Harbor Hawks after 3 straight singles from the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Y-D order. Will Baker, Garrett Wright, and Jack Bell, all 3 RBI singles to give Y-D a 3-0 lead over Hyannis. And for the Harbor Hawks, it's 7-8-9. Due to the plate, beginning with the righty catcher Stone Lawless. Takes his warm-up cups in the on-deck circle. They'll face the righty hurler Dylan Tate once again, out for a 5th inning of work after he has maneuvered this lineup quite well. He retired 10 straight batters before allowing Camacho to reach last inning, a walk to Ray Velasquez as well, both with 2 outs, and then forced the ground out of Andrew Williamson to put up his 4th donut in a row to start this game. And going back, Graham, to his last outing at Falmouth 7 days ago, it's his 6th consecutive scoreless inning after letting up 2 in his very first inning of work this summer.
It was just the start of that game for Tate that kind of brought things down. If you look at the numbers, it doesn't speak as well to how he closed that game. He was phenomenal come the 3rd inning.
First pitch to Stone Lawless is rocketed towards left field. Sodra back on it, and he watches it fly. Stone Lawless's first home run of the summer as a Harbor Hawk on the first pitch he sees from Dylan Tate in the 5th inning, and the Harbor Hawks have one back. It's 3-1 Y-D. First pitch swinging, there's that attack mode, Max. He did not miss the breaking ball.
Well, we talk about getting it extended. Case in point, there's that breaking ball, as you mentioned, Gio, right at the bottom of the zone, and he caught it out in front. That's what they say. Home runs are just pitches that you catch out in front. And a beautiful stroke from the right-handed hitter.
Just turned on it and sent it over the left field wall. Get numbers on that for you momentarily. Here's the 8-hitter Hayden Federico. The switch-hitting left fielder batting lefty for the 2nd consecutive at-bat. Nobody out, nobody on the pitch. Skips in to the catcher Garrett Wright. A ball and no strikes.
Well, we all knew that this was coming for both sides, the two best averages in the Cape League. So having that many zeros up on the scoreboard was shocking. But the Red Sox get 3 in the last half inning. Hyannis jumps right back on the horse, exactly what you'd expect from these two.
1-0. Low at the knees, 2-0. Hyannis with the best average in the Cape League at 262, while Y-D is second at 258. The Red Sox, however, boasts the best ERA on Cape Cod at 2.16. Hyannis is fourth in ERA at 3.51. The righty Tate's 2-0. A fastball on the outer corner, 3-0.
Federico trying to keep the momentum going. All it takes sometimes is a walk. It doesn't feel like much. It's not a hit, but at the same time, getting a guy on board after a big blast like that, that can do so much for the rest of the order.
3-0 pitch. Inside, Federico works a 4-pitch walk. A great start to the top of the 5th inning, for Hyannis. After surrendering 3 runs to the Red Sox in the bottom of the 4th, home run for Stone Lawless, a walk for Hayden Federico with nobody out.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the response from Dylan Tate because he was dealing, gives up the home run, and now we're having a mom visit right here.
And out comes the pitching coach for Y-D to speak with Dylan Tate. It's Jeff Pickler in his first season with the Y-D Red Sox. He is Scott Pickler's son. Of course, Scott Pickler, the manager for Y-D, only 600-win manager on Cape Cod in his 27th season. His only child, most recently the infield and game planning coach for the Cincinnati Reds of MLB. Spent 8 years as a big league coach and was the SEC Player of the Year in 1998 as a member of the Tennessee Volunteers. And he's imparting some wisdom on Dylan Tate. He's done a remarkable job up to this point. He mentioned he retired 10 straight batters after allowing a single to Ryan McKay as the second batter of the game, and flipped the order for the last time he failed to get somebody out. It's Gabe Camacho's single in the 4th that broke it up. And here's Jeff Luigi, the lefty DH in the 9-hole with nobody out and just Federico on first. The pitch. Chop foul, first base side, 0-1. Stone Lawless started off this 5th inning out hot with a home run on the very first pitch of the frame. And that cut what was once a 3-0 Y-D lead after 3 runs in the 4th to a 2-run deficit. Tate with a long hold, now the pitch. It's muscled towards second base, a turn and throw for Baker. That's his only play as Federico's retired and Jeff Luigi reaches on the fielder's choice.
Baseball. Hayden Federico slowing down to try to throw off the double play opportunity, and he made sure to stay as long as he could without obviously being hit by the ball to throw off the second baseman right there. You got to love it when guys do the little things right.
So 1 out. Luigi takes the spot of Federico at first, and Hyannis flips the order for a 3rd time in this game as Jason Walk bats lefty for a 3rd straight at-bat, the switch-hitting center fielder. First pitch from Tate, fastball inside, 1-0.
I'm sure that Walk very happy to get a 3rd try at his teammate. He's currently 0 for 2 on the day with that strikeout, so Dylan Tate winning this Sooner battle right now, but Jason Walk, he's a hard guy to get out. He's going to fight in counts for as long as possible.
Couple of Oklahoma Sooners here, 1-0. Fastball on the inner corner, clips for a strike, 1-1.
Walk not very happy about it. He comes up shaking his head. Thought that was well inside for ball 2.
Walk clicks his heels as he digs back into the lefty box, swings his bat a couple times towards Tate. The righty hurler set atop the bump from the stretch. 1-1. Swing and a miss from Walk. Out ahead on a breaking ball, 1-2.
And Tate reading the body language of Walk. That's why they teach you try to not show your emotions too much, because he goes right back to that pitch and puts Walk in a hole.
Tate looking for a 3rd strikeout of the game. He's ahead 1-2. 1 out and a man on. The pitch drifts low and inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jason Walk, a rising sophomore at the aforementioned Oklahoma, a native of Ackworth, Georgia. He's done quite well early on for Hyannis, coming off back-to-back games with RBIs. Tate set from the stretch is 2-2. It's lifted foul down the 3rd base side. Well out of play. We'll do the 2-2 again. Walk takes a lap outside the box, all the way to the infield grass, rather to the grass behind home plate. Now he digs back in. He taps the dish twice, clicks those heels again, as Tate retoes the rubber with Jeff Lugie on first. The infield shifts the lefty slightly, very much so to pull. 2-2. He's roped the other way, over the head of a leaping Carreras and into left field. A base hit for Walk. He'll stop at first. That sends Lugie to second, and they've got 2 on with 1 out in the 5th.
Well, I love the approach from Walk, and we've talked about it all this season, that guys have to make adjustments on a pitch-to-pitch basis. That's the 3rd time he went down to that location, and after that swing and miss, Walk throws the barrel out, gets the fat part of the head on it. Really impressive stuff from the Oklahoma Sooner.
Well, Dylan Tate, close to 70 pitches for the outing. With 1 out and 2 on. It's a 3-1 Y-D lead in the top of the 5th, and out comes Scott Pickler from the dugout. As Tate was just about to get set to face Ryan McKay. Looks like that will bring his game to a close, Graham.
And it was a really good outing. He's let up a run and a couple hits in this 5th inning, but innings 1 through 4 were very, very expertly handled. A very early single from Ryan McKay, and then after that, like you said, he retired 10 straight. So a really good showing, no matter the outcome for Dylan Tate. He's got to be proud of that after the poorer start against Falmouth.
He's responsible for Jeff Lugie at second and Jason Walk at first. The Oklahoma Sooner goes 4 1/3, strikes out 2, walks a pair, allows a home run to Stone Lawless. That's 1 of 5 hits he surrendered today. All around a very strong outing for Dylan Tate of Y-D. We'll take a quick break and meet the new pitcher after this on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
Owning a home means you can protect your family and put down roots in a community you care about. It gives you a place to celebrate the joys of daily living and be together during tough times. But for many on Cape Cod, home ownership is slipping further out of reach. Help make sure the American dream is available to the teachers, public safety professionals, and all the other people who make the Cape a special place. Visit capehousingmatters.org to find out more.
We bring you back to the top of the 5th at Red Wilson Field. It's 3-1 Red Sox against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, the hometown team, making its first pitching change of the afternoon and replacing Dylan Tate, the righty who stretched 4 1/3 innings. It's Zach Harris, another righty, this time out of the University of Georgia, making what is his 22nd appearance of the spring, going back to his time with the Bulldogs in Athens. He made 5 starts for a team that went 43-17, hosted a regional in Athens in the NCAA tournament, finished with a team-high 4 saves in 27 2/3 innings of work, and moved to the closer role for Georgia in the final month of the season into the playoffs. So he's been in some big spots across the SEC tournament and into the NCAA regionals and Athens, Graham. And now he comes into a game where Hyannis has got 2 runners aboard. They're both on the register of Dylan Tate, who's already allowed 1 in this inning. He faces a very difficult part of the order, 2 and 3 due up with 1 out.
Yeah, and Hyannis seems to have a lot of momentum right now. It started with that Stone Lawless home run on the first pitch he saw from Tate, but then walk, fielder's choice, and single. Hyannis seems to have all the momentum. So Harris, although it's not the biggest situation we've seen a relief pitcher come into, it feels big because of the circumstances.
With 1 out and Jeff Lugie on second, it's Jason Walk on first. Ryan McKay at the dish with Zach Harris atop the bump for his first batter of this game. 3-1 Red Sox lead, top of 5. He looks back at second, now throws. Fastball misses outside, 1-0. McKay is 1 for 2 today. He singled on the second pitch he saw in the first inning. Advanced to second on an error, but struck out in the 4th. Harris works exclusively from the stretch. He peers at first, Walk dives in safely as the ball skips by the first baseman Hakopian, rounding third. Here comes Lugie, but he takes a A halt midway through, and he will advance the base. Walk goes to third as well. Scott Pickler out of the dugout trying to negotiate as to what happened there with Federico De Jesus. Max, what did you see there?
Well, we don't have a great vantage point, but what that screams to me, if everybody gets a free base, is that ball exited the field of play, most likely went into the Hyannis dugout or something of that caliber.
And so that's a second run of the day for Hyannis. Second as many in this frame, as it's a 3-2 ball game. Coach Pickler still negotiating with Federico De Jesus on the third baseline. Jason Walk stands at third base, and Jeff Lugie plated for the first time all season long after the DH out of Duke got here a couple days ago, playing in his second consecutive game. Still Ryan McKay at the dish.
And this is what we've talked about recently with Hyannis' offenses. Sometimes if the opposing team gives them something, they will hold on to it for dear life and take advantage of it, unlike any team that you will see in the Cape League this far in the season. So that could really be what we come back to if Hyannis is able to pull this out, because that's a big mistake to make. You allow them to each advance 2 bases, one scores and one is 90 feet away with 1 out.
The run is yet to be added to the scoreboard in left center field. But 3-2 the score if this play were to stand. Scott Pickler still pleading his case to the home plate umpire Federico De Jesus.
And one of the things that is discussed at the managers meeting right before the game is the field rules. So this should be a clearly established rule of what happens if the ball exits the field of play.
And the run has indeed been added to the scoreboard. 3-2 officially in favor of Y-D still, after the Red Sox collected 3 runs on 3 straight singles in the bottom of the 4th inning. The second baseman Ryan McKay digs back into the lefty box. Jason Walk stands at third base. All 4 infielders with their toes on the infield dirt. The righty Zach Harris atop the bump. He's set from the stretch. A 1-0 count. The pitch. Drifts outside. Walk was halfway to home plate. A 2-0 to Ryan McKay. Ryan McKay, the Cape League's leader in batting average at .375, tied with Josiah Ragsdale of Brewster, with 1 out and 1 man on. The 2-0 is chopped by the pitcher to the second baseman Baker. He goes to first, and Walk stays put at third. The score remains the same, and there's 2 outs in the top of the 5th.
Really well done there by Baker, just watching, stalking Jason Walk to make sure that he couldn't come home, and then turning and making the play over at first. That was exactly what this team needed on the defensive side. They only had 1 out, and it was looking pretty gray with Ryan McKay up. But for Y-D to get that out, that's huge.
And here's a batter that works walks as well as anyone in the Cape League. Tied for the league lead with 12. It's the left switch hitting shortstop Jackson Willits. Batting lefty, 2 outs, 1 on. The pitch. Breaking ball on the outer corner for a strike. Willits is 0 for 2 today with a pair of flyouts. But those 12 walks have come in 7 games. A Cape League All-Star last summer with Falmouth, switching teams within the West Division this year. 0-1. Breaking ball, similar spot, just misses. A ball and a strike. Sun beginning to set behind the third base line. Some trees that come between the bleachers. No lights here at Red Wilson Field. Harris a breath, now the 1-1. A breaking ball clips the inner corner, and he's a strike away from escaping trouble in this 5th inning for Y-D.
That one had some nasty break on it. Willits kind of scooted out of the way like he thought he was going to get hit.
The switch hitting lefty, or the switch hitting shortstop, batting lefty this at-bat. Takes a walk out of the box, now digs in. The 1-2. Fastball misses on the outer corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Willits looking to bring home Jason Walk to level this game. After Y-D took the 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th, Hyannis has gotten 2 in this top of the 5th. 2-2, 2 outs, a man on. Harris kicks and deals. Fastball inside, strike 3. It clipped the inner corner, and down goes Willits for the 3rd straight at-bat. But Hyannis gets a pair of runs off the Stone Lawless homer as the first batter of the 5th, and Jeff Luigi plated on a single from Jason Walk. A pickoff attempt erroneously thrown into the Hyannis dugout by Zach Harris brings home the DH, and it's 3-2 Red Sox heading bottom 5.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
This week we've been working a lot with doing play-by-plays, just doing behind-the-scenes stuff with sports broadcasting, which I never really realized how much went into it, but it's been really cool.
They've grown a lot. I've never really done like a program like this before, so like seeing all the behind the scenes has like really grown.
I've learned how to really just gain confidence in my play-by-play speaking, and I've learned more terms here when it comes to directing and producing, and I've just had a great time with John Rook.
Doing the play-by-play stuff and all that, being with a guy like John Rook, understanding what like the major kind of entails doing this camp, just really a preview for what you do here at Dean or any other college doing broadcasting, so I'm definitely more prepared to make this a job of mine.
Time for the bottom of the 5th. It's a 3-2 Y-D Red Sox lead over the visiting Hyannis Harbor Hawks. But the Hawks did get a pair of runs in the top half of the frame. A first pitch home run from Stone Lawless, followed up by Jeff Luigi reaching on a fielder's choice. For a single from Jason Walk, an error from Zach Harris of Y-D moves both the runners with a free base. Luigi takes home plate, and that cuts the deficit to 1. It's a new pitcher out for Mitch Carricker and the Harbor Hawks after the lefty Mason Russell relieves Carson Yassa. It's another lefty in Santi Garcia, the rising junior, a native of Las Cruces, New Mexico, and an Oregon Duck, out for a 3rd time this season. Last pitch on June 24th at Falmouth. He went 2 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, and 4 strikeouts, and now he takes over, Max, for Mason Russell.
The final line on Russell, 1 1/3 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, all were earned, 1 walk, and no punch-outs. Passing the torch to Garcia, who's been very clutch, especially in high-leverage situations. Going to face a tough Y-D order.
In each of his outings, he has gotten out of bases-loaded jams. He inherited the bases loaded in his first appearance at Bourne on June 19th. Struck out 4 and got the win over the Braves, 8-5 for Hyannis. And Russell strikes out none after Carson Yassa strikes out 6 in 2 2/3. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Y-D Red Sox. And first pitch swinging from Avery Ortiz, the lefty DH, 0-1. Garcia's got a solid pitch mix. Fastball, slider, curveball. Began his college career at Central Arizona Community College. The righty Ortiz, digs in on an 0-1. Garcia throws. Breaking ball clips the inner corner, 0-2. 3-2 Y-D Red Sox lead as the field begins to darken. No lights here at Red Wilson Field, so we'll play until we can. The bottom of the 5th. 0-2. Fastball rings him up. First K for Santi Garcia, and it's the 7th of the afternoon to start the bottom of the 5th for the Harbor Hawks.
That's what Santi Garcia is so good at doing, is ringing up batters. He got 4 at Bourne, 4 at Falmouth. He is just a strikeout pitcher. Allowed 3 hits against Falmouth, so those batters were able to get on, but none of them crossed home plate. He was able to get out of it every single time.
It's the 7th K for the Harbor Hawks, the first one looking. And a first ball skips into Stone Lawless. He faces Chris Hakopian, the righty first baseman. 1-0. Lawless a bit shaken up. The home plate umpire, Federico De Jesus, leaves his post behind the catcher and personally tosses a new baseball to Santi Garcia as Lawless puts his mask on his head and tries to recover. He's been asked to make a lot of picks today so far from that spot. The righty Hakopian digs in. He's ahead 1-0. The lefty Garcia atop the bump. He deals. Fastball misses low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. And Chris Hakopian, just about the most dangerous out in this order. On the move from Maryland to Texas A&M. Entered the transfer portal and committed before he got to the Cape. 2-0. He's tattooed into left center field walk, looks back, but he called off by Hayden Federico for a long second out.
Just off the end of the bat, didn't really have the sound, had the good launch angle, but had him a little bit out ahead. And Garcia really pitching to that outer half.
And 2 more quick outs in this inning for Hyannis after Y-D plated 3 runs in the bottom of the 4th. Hyannis pitching looking to face 1 above the minimum for the 2nd time today, rather for the 3rd time today. In the 1st, the 3rd, and it would be now in the 5th. But here's the lefty left fielder and the cleanup man, A.J. Soldra. Lefty on lefty. First pitch. Breaking ball misses outside. A ball and no strikes.
Garcia needs to get a quick inning here to get his bats back up. They were rifling hot in their last inning up. And so far he's gotten 2 quick ones. He's got to complete and get the 3rd.
2 outs, no one on. The 1-0. Breaking ball misses at the letters. 2 balls and no strikes to A.J. Soldra. The left fielder's 0 for 2 today with a strikeout in the 1st, a ground out in the 3rd. He's got nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom 5, a 3-2 Red Sox lead over the Hawks. 2-0. Fastball at the knees, a nod from Federico De Jesus, and a 2-1 count. And Soldra comes into this game the team's leader in OPS at 1.291, yet not qualified to lead the league, although that walk would. 2-1 pitch on the outer corner for a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Soldra trying to work a 2-out rally for Y-D after it brought 4 hitters to the plate with no one out in the 4th. 3-2 Red Sox lead, bottom 5. The 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Garcia strikes out the 1st and 3rd batter he faces as he faces the minimum in the bottom of the 5th and keeps it a 3-2 game headed to the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base. And we are headed to the 6th inning here at Red Wilson Field.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Through 5 frames here at Red Wilson Field, and it is a 3-2 Red Sox lead over the visiting Harbor Hawks, a matchup that pits the top 2 teams in the respective divisions of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Hyannis looking for its 9th win. It sits atop the West Division at 8-3-1, while Y-D rides an 8-game heater into today's game at 9-2-1, leading the East Division by 2.5 games over Brewster. Here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, I'm Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash and Max Schwartzberg, diamond side at Red Wilson Field. Zach Harris remains atop of the bump for the Red Sox, and he'll face 4, 5, and 6 in the Hyannis order, beginning with the lefty first baseman Gabe Camacho. Due up for a 3rd time today, he's flown out and singled. That single coming in the bottom of the 4th inning. He advanced on 2 wild pitches from starter Dylan Tate for Y-D. And now Harris, in relief of the Oklahoma Sooner Dylan Tate, will try to keep this a 1-run game in favor of his Red Sox. The lefty Camacho digs in. The righty Harris set atop the bump, working exclusively from the stretch. First pitch. Fastball that misses outside, 1-0.
Camacho got the first hit of the ball game. He was the only one not in that 5th inning to have a hit. That 5th inning was just a hot one for Hyannis. So he arguably was the one that got things started here. He's going to try to keep it going.
Harris takes a breath, a serious shift to the lefty. 1-0. Breaking ball clips the inner corner, 1-1. And to describe that shift, you got the second baseman, Will Baker, fully in shallow right field. The third baseman, Jack Bell, playing shortstop, for lack of better phrase. Yomar Carreras, the shortstop, on the other side of the second base bag. Nobody out, nobody on. Harris is 1-1. Breaking ball misses outside of the letters, 2-1.
This infield basically inviting Camacho to try and push one, just so confident that he won't. Feel like it's going to be a pull no matter what.
The last time up, this shift was up. The leadoff man, Jason Walk, roped a single the other way. 2-1. Camacho dodges out of the way on a breaking ball inside, 3-1. And Camacho out of UC San Diego, a rising junior that's now only playing in his 4th game, but he's been here for 2 weeks almost. 1 for 4 with an RBI single on Friday at Orleans. 3-1. Fastball clips the inner corner and load the count to the first baseman. 3 games and 3 hits, but also 3 strikeouts. That average at 273 for Camacho, 606 OPS. Replacing Miles Bailey at first. He left for Team USA. 3-2. Chopped foul to the backstop. We'll do it again. And Camacho's got some serious power, as we've seen in this precursor to his now regular playing time. In batting practice, you got to break out the measuring tape multiple times on some of his home runs. Harris set from the stretch, glove at his chest. He's got his sign. Now he throws. And Camacho lifts this foul over the netting and out of play. A 3rd straight 3-2 upcoming.
That's a really impressive swing. Camacho way out ahead, but it's so crucial that he was able to get a piece and stay alive in this at-bat. First time he saw the changeup.
Sun now peeking through the trees on the third base line. No lights here at Red Wilson Field, so we'll play until it gets too dark to do so. A 3-2 for Gabe Camacho. The lefty digs in. Nobody out, nobody on. The infield shifts him heavily to pull. Harris is 3-2. Is lifted into center field. Gasparino back on it. He makes the grab with the backhand as he runs into the left center field alley. A long fly out for Gabe Camacho. It brings Will Gasparino to the track, but there's one down in the 6th.
And a really good piece of hitting. Camacho got a lot of that baseball, drove it well back into center. Gasparino just had the speed to get underneath it and glove that baseball, but after going line out, single line out, he's got to feel pretty confident about how things are going.
Now it's Ray Velasquez, third baseman in the 5 spot, batting righty. The infield back in its normal position with the corner infielders at their heels on the outfield grass. The pitch. Fastball on the inner black, 0-1. 1 out, no one aboard. It's the top of the 6th and a 3-2 Y-D Red Sox lead here at Red Wilson Field. Velasquez digs back in. The bat just angled above his right shoulder. Harris from the stretch throws. 0-1, misses outside. Ball and a strike. Velasquez is 0 for 1 today. He worked a walk in the bottom of the 4th inning, but was stranded as Andrew Williamson grounded out. The aforementioned right fielder stands on deck, batting 6th. 1-1. Breaking ball on the inside half. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Really good breaking pitch there. Slowed the speed down a lot, and Velasquez just didn't even try. Started away from him and then broke back in, and by the time he saw it, it was too late.
1 out, no one on for the righty third baseman Ray Velasquez. Righty on righty. Harris from the stretch comes home. Chopped over the pitcher's mound to short. Carreras fields the Baltimore chop and skips it into first base as Hakopian gloves with the backhand for out number 2. Quick couple of outs for Zach Harris in relief of Dylan Tate. After the pitching change made midway through the 5th inning, in which Hyannis got its only 2 runs of the game. A first pitch home run from Stone Lawless, followed up by Jeff Luigi advancing on an error down the pickoff attempt from the aforementioned Harris. He retired the next 2 batters he faced after that. And here's Andrew Williamson with 2 outs and no one on. The 6-hole man to bat is a lefty, plays right field. And a first pitch to him, a fastball that misses outside, 1-0. Williamson 0 for 2 today, fly out and a ground out in the 2nd and 4th respectively. Trying to break that dry spell. 1-0. Breaking ball loops outside, 2-0.
Very different pitch to the first one. First one coming in real hot, and that one very slow. Just the pop of the glove sounded so different. And Williamson with the patience and the eye to lay off on both.
From the stretch, here's Harris. And the 2-0 drifts inside, and Williamson in a 3-0 count. Here's the shift again from the infield of Y-D. He puts the second baseman Baker into shallow right. The shortstop Carreras with his heels on the outfield grass on the right side of second. And the third baseman Bell between the second and third base bags. And a 3-1 count to Andrew Williamson. Fastball paints the inside corner.
And he was taking that one the entire way, did not lift the bat off his shoulder on a pitch that was middle pretty much the entire way to the plate.
Stone Lawless, the catcher, waits on deck. He had a home run last inning, the first run of the day for Hyannis. 3-1. Swing and a miss. Healthy cut at a fastball and a full count to Andrew Williamson.
Those are two impressive back-to-back pitches to work this count full after Williamson went up 3-0.
The lefty digs back in, trying to spark a 2-out rally for Hyannis. A heavy infield shift to pull. The righty Harris atop of the bump. He's set from the stretch. 3-2 is chopped towards second. Baker into right field, fields it on a hop and throws to Hakopian for out number 3. Zach Harris faces the minimum. He goes 1-2-3 for the first time in this outing. Camacho down to the flyout. Velasquez to the ground out. Williamson to the ground out. No one left on base. No hits, no runs as we head bottom 6. It's 3-2. Red Sox lead the Hawks.
Your future begins at Dean College.
Make a difference.
Leave your mark.
Break the mold.
Be a leader.
Achieve unimagined heights.
Believe in yourself.
Make lifelong friends.
This is your time.
Your place.
Your home. Your Dean.
It all starts here at Dean College.
Sixth here at Red Wilson Field, and it's still 3-2 for the hometown Red Sox over the visiting Harbor Hawks. These two teams atop their respective divisions, a juggernaut clash here early in the season. This is just game 13 and already the biggest matchup of the season so far. It's the lefty Oregon Duck, Santi Garcia, atop the bump for Mitch Carricker and Hyannis after Zach Harris for Y-D in the top of the 6th faced the minimum. Garcia will get 5, 6, and 7 for the Red Sox, beginning with Will Gasparino, the righty center fielder, the second baseman Will Baker, the lefty batting 6th, and the catcher Garrett Wright, the righty, in the 7th spot. Graham, this is exactly where the inning started for Y-D, where it got all 3 of its runs. Gasparino walked in the 4th, and then 3 straight RBI singles brought him across.
Yeah, it was a really good start to the inning for Gasparino, so he just needs to look for more of the same. I mean, if you draw a walk, that can be it to kind of light a spark for a batting order.
Gasparino digs in, a gargantuan 6'6", 225 in the righty box. And the lefty Santi Garcia atop the bump. First pitch. Fastball misses inside, 1-0. And despite the leadoff walk in the 4th, Gasparino is 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the 2nd. On the move from the Texas Longhorns as he's in the transfer portal after 2 years in Austin. Garcia's 1-0. Fastball on the inner corner, 1-1. And Santi Garcia, as we mentioned when he relieved Mason Russell after 1 1/3, has inherited a lot of damage in his previous 2 appearances for Hyannis this summer. Nobody out, nobody on here. 1-1. And fastball misses low, 2-1. In both of his prior outings for Hyannis, he's faced the bases loaded. He inherited the bases loaded on June 19th against Bourne. He shakes off the first sign from Stone Lawless, a 2-1 count. He comes home. And Gasparino lifts this high in the air to right center field. Jason Walk comes in from the track, flashes the leather for out number 1. A moon ball from Gasparino and a flyout as he's 0 for 2. That brings up Will Baker, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, playing second today and batting lefty.
It's got to feel so good for Garcia, to your point, just being able to kind of pitch with nobody on right now. Just have a couple free-flowing innings. Went 3 up, 3 down back in the 5th for his first inning of work, and he gets a quick next out here in the start of the 6th.
Baker digs in for the lefty box. And a first pitch from Garcia, high at the letters, 1-0. Baker roped the first RBI single down the first base line. It brought home Gasparino from first. Walked in the second as well, so he's 1 for 1. 1-0. 2-0 as the breaking ball misses upstairs and in. Baker had to lunge his way out of that one's way. Now he takes a lap outside the box. Taps the dish twice on the upper and lower corners and rests the bat on his left shoulder. 2-0. Breaking ball misses inside. 3-0. And for Y-D, this is exactly how that rally started, as we mentioned, with a leadoff walk for Gasparino. And for Baker, it'd be his 7th walk of the season. 3-0. Fastball right down Broadway, 3-1.
Good response. A couple times where we've seen Garcia go down in a count and then throw an important strike when he needs to.
The Red Sox also in danger of flipping the order with a rally. 7, 8, and 9 after this. 3-1 is tattooed foul, first base side. 3-2. And for Baker, a native of Australia, who just finished up his freshman year at Georgia Tech, this a welcome change from one at-bat against Wareham last night when he pitch hit for Dean Carpentier and grounded out. In increased at-bats, a 3-2. Swung on and misses. It skipped into Lawless. Looks like he got a piece of it. As Baker still close to the batter's box. We'll do the 3-2 again.
And that one got a big piece of Federico De Jesus, giving himself some time, walking that baseball back out to the mound.
I was about to mention, Max, Stone Lawless has got the brunt of work there tonight. He's taken a beating, multiple balls, skipping in on him in each inning, it feels like. But to finish the point on Baker, increased at-bats have led to a more productive night. 3-2. And this one skips into Lawless, writhing in pain. He lunges forward as that's a walk for Will Baker with 1 out.
Now batting for Y-D, the catcher from the
And that's got to be tough for Santi Garcia because he thought that he got out of the at-bat. He threw that really good breaking ball, and Baker was just able to clip it and get a piece to stay alive. He went right back to it, but just didn't quite have the right release point. It dove straight to home plate well early of the one he threw before.
For Will Baker, 3-0 to 3-2 to first base. And up comes the 7-hole man, Garrett Wright, from the right side. 1 out and a man on. Garcia's first pitch is clubbed into right field. Both Walk and Williamson on it. Walk calls off Williamson for out number 2. Now that the best thing possible for Santi Garcia. Now a couple flyouts to center flank the walk from Will Baker.
Yeah, quick out. That's got to feel really good on the first pitch. And now that kind of neutralizes the threat of flipping the order and bringing back up Dowd in that leadoff spot because you got 2 tries to get this third out and get out of the inning.
Just Baker on first base, 2 outs. Bottom 5, a 3-2 Red Sox lead. Here's the lefty Jack Bell. Swings through the first pitch to him, 0-1.
And he was just well late to that fastball. The Blue Bayou pitch. Bell reacted well late, and Santi Garcia with a great first pitch.
The lefty trying to get out of the inning with no more runs unscathed. They'll pick up a pick-off attempt at first, and Baker back safely. Bell, the third baseman, batting 8th. Singled in the 4th, one of the third of 3 straight RBI singles, but struck out to end the 2nd inning. 0-1. Breaking ball misses low and outside. A ball and a strike. And Bell at TCU just finished up his first year there as well. Made 39 starts as a freshman, all around the infield. Garcia takes a breath, looks at first, now delivers. High above, springs Stone Lawless out of his crouch. 2-1.
Lawless fortunate to keep a hand on that or keep a glove on that because that was well high, like you said, and Baker could have gotten himself into scoring position if it sailed.
He creeps off of first base. Gabe Camacho covering him there. The infield shifts the lefty Bell at the plate slightly to pull. With 2 outs, the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Behind the fastball that time, 2-2. And Garcia a strike away from facing one above the minimum in his 2 frames of work. He toes the rubber, set from the stretch. He looks back at second, shakes off his first sign from Lawless. Now takes a breath, looks at first, and comes home. Breaking ball, misses outside, 3-2 count. Bell trying to spark that 2-out rally. That's been so good for Hyannis this season. They worked 2 separate 2-out rallies in the win over Orleans on Friday to the tune of a total of 4 runs. 2 outs and a man on, 3-2. Fastball sorted foul down the third baseline. We'll do it again.
And this very similar to the Will Baker at bat. Santi Garcia on a 3-2 throwing a very good pitch, but the batter fouls it off, and now it's another 3-2. The last time this happened, Baker drew a walk on a breaking ball that Garcia just didn't quite release at the right spot.
Bell ready from the lefty box. The lefty Garcia atop the bump. First picks off at first. Baker barely back in time as Camacho applies the tag on his back. And Garcia retoes the rubber after walking off it briefly. He's set for a 3-2. From the stretch, he's got the glove at his belt. Looks at first, takes a breath, picks off again, and Baker skimpers back in safely. Should be scampers, my bad. Yeah, I combined 2 words there, skips and scampers. The latter, the correct one there for Baker. 2 outs, he's the lone man aboard. Jack Bell at the plate, 3-2. Low at the knees, and it's another walk on a full count issued by Santi Garcia. 2 on and 2 out for Y-D here in the bottom of the 6th.
And this is what Mitch Carricker didn't want to see. We talked about it a couple days ago, how the Hyannis pitching staff, the walks, have really started to creep up there. And in a game like this, 3-2 in later innings, you can't really afford to give up free passes to this caliber.
And spark the 2-out rally. That might flip the order as the 9-hole man, Yomar Carreras, comes up. The switch hitter batting righty for the first time today. Watches a first pitch to him, drifts inside, 1-0. Carreras also 0 for 2 today. He grounded out into a 5-4-3 double play. They got the first 2 outs of that inning, but brought Jack Bell across to score the run. Rather, Garrett Wright across to score the run. Third of the inning for Y-D. Garcia's 1-0. Lifted foul third base side. We'll do it again. Or rather, it's 1-1. Carreras steps out of the box. Now steps back into the right-hand side of the plate. It's Garcia quickly ready atop the bump. The infield shifts the righty to pull. 2 on, 2 out. Garcia with the glove of the belt. Looks back at second. Now fires. Chopped foul behind to the backstop. 1-2.
And now Garcia can kind of get to work. He does really well when he's adding counts, and 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is his go zone.
A little extra mustard on the fastball for Santi Garcia. Let's see if he chooses the blow-by pitch here. 1-2, 2 out, 2 on. A 1-run lead for Y-D, bottom 6. The pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Carreras out ahead of the breaking ball, and Santi Garcia works himself into and out of trouble to keep this a 1-run game headed to the 7th inning.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
We welcome you back for the top of the 7th inning. It's still Zach Harris at top of the bump for Y-D. His Red Sox have a 3-2 lead over the visiting Harbor Hawks in this clash of division leaders. Leader in the West, Hyannis, versus the leader in the East, Y-D. And it's time to beat D-Bot here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. D-Bot, we've got a good one for you after it's been back and forth for you in the last couple of games. 6-5, that record. We didn't get to do it last night with the fog out.
Yeah, I think my prediction for myself was that I was going to get to 10-5. I think I was predicted that I was going to win 4 straight, so it's got to start today. If I lose today, then I start to really get worried, though, because then I hit 500.
Bring it back to 500. Your player is Cody Miller, a junior infielder who leads Y-D in most major categories, and he attends Eastern Tennessee State. What's your answer, D-Bot?
Oh, my gosh.
Now batting for Hyannis,
I can picture it.
Stone Lawless comes to the plate for Hyannis. The 7-8-9 due up for the Harbor Hawks to face Zach Harris for a second time.
It's a shot in the dark, but I'm going Eagles.
Final answer.
Yeah.
That is incorrect. It is the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I knew it.
You did not know it because you guessed the Eagles.
Yeah, but I was joking.
That's a new one.
Harris's first pitch. A fastball that just misses that inside corner, 1-0.
10-6, 10-6.
We're at 6-6 now through 12 games. That was Beat D-Bot here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Top 7, no one out, no one on. Lawless the first batter to the plate in a 3-2 ball game. Harris nods, now fires. And the 1-0 is drilled out to center field. Gasparino slides and makes the grab. Spins up after the sliding grab. Will Gasparino with an eventful first out of the 7th.
Very well done. Went sliding to his left leg and was able to just pick that right into his glove. Kind of basket caught it, too. Very impressive.
Razzle dazzle in center field for Will Gasparino. 1 out, no one on for Hayden Federico, the 8-hole hitter. A left fielder, a switch hitter that's now batted from the left side in each of his 3 at-bats so far in this game. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out and a walk. He digs in. The righty Harris set from the stretch, glove at his peck. First pitch. Fastball right down the heart. Strike 1. Federico at one point led the Harbor Hawks in walks. He's got that one today. He had 6 in 4 games. Now just 8 as he plays his 10th. Harris with a deep breath. Now an 0-1. Federico squares the bunt as the fastball misses at the letters. 1-1.
Well, he can do that. He can bunt and get on base. He's got unbelievable speed, and he's just so crafty. We talk about small ball. Hayden Federico is kind of the picture-perfect example of small ball. He's so good at just racing out throws to first.
Rising sophomore out of Ole Miss. Offering on 1-1. A breaking ball misses low with the knees. 2-1. No lights at Red Wilson Field for a game that started right at 5 o'clock. We're just 2 hours and 4 minutes in. It's 7:04, and just to watch that sunset, it's coming at 8:19 here in the 7th. 2-1. Fastball misses that outer corner. 3-1. 1 out, no one aboard for Federico, who was an all-SEC freshman team selection for the Rebels. Started his college career on a 10-game hit streak. Trying to work one here, his first of the game. Harris is 3-1. Fastball misses low, and it's a walk for Hayden Federico. Back-to-back walks for the Ole Miss Rebel. And it's a 1 out. Now with 1 out, Hyannis has a man aboard in the 7th. That brings up Jeff Lugie. He's had an interesting day, rather an interesting appearance on the base paths. He flew out in the 3rd, but reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. And on the error at first base for the pitcher, Zach Harris, who sets from the stretch, ready to deal a first ball to him. First turns back and fires a pickoff successfully this time. Wasn't successful in the 5th inning when the ball went into the Hyannis dugout, and Lugie was awarded home plate by Federico De Jesus, the home plate umpire. The lefty digs in, 1 out, no, just a man on. Harris's first pitch. A tap foul on the bunt. Lugie was off to the races as it dribbles foul. 0-1.
And that's one of the mistakes that you really can't make as a team, especially against the best in the West and the best batting average team in the league. You can't have those errors that brings home a free runner. And yet, Y-D has been able to hold on to the lead. Speaks volumes to their pitching and just how hard they've fought to keep ahead of Hyannis.
Luigi briefly steps out of the box, now digs back into the left side. Angles the bat high above his left shoulder and his royal blue helmet. Federico on first and 1 out. Federico dives back in as Harris checks up on him. Now he'll come set for the 0-1. Puts the glove to his side. Peers in for his sign from his battery, Garrett Wright. Now from the stretch, he's got the glove at his chest. 0-1 upcoming. Long hold, now a turn back at first. A second straight disengagement for Zach Harris. And Federico's back safely both times.
And for good reason. Hayden Federico is not a guy you want to play around with. He's got serious speed, has already stolen a handful of bases this year for Hyannis. So you want to keep him in check over at first.
Just the 1 base gram for him so far this year. 0-1. Breaking ball clips the inner corner, 0-2. But that's not to say that Federico doesn't have that pop along the base paths, because at Ole Miss, he stole 12 bases in 13 attempts. Just hasn't gotten to do it a whole lot here on the Cape. With 1 out, he's the lone man aboard. 0-2. It's roped into left field. It drops in front of the left fielder, Saldra. A base hit for Jeff Luigi. They go station to station. Federico on second and Luigi aboard for a second straight at bat. 1 out here in the 7th and 2 on to flip the order.
And that's where it gets dangerous. Jason Walk and Ryan McKay do up, both with a single in this ball game. Jackson Willits hitting third. He's 0 for 3. So if they're able to get him back up, I'm sure he would love to get another shot at this pitching staff as early as he could. But these two guys, Walk and McKay, have had really, really strong outings in the past couple of games.
The Oklahoma Sooner, Jason Walk for a 4th time. He squares to bunt. His fastball misses outside. 1-0. 1 out, most action along the base paths for Hyannis since the 5th inning, where Stone Lawless's first pitch home run got the Harbor Hawks their first run of the game. They now trail Y-D 3-2 here in the top of the 7th. 0-1, or rather the 1-0, misses outside. It's 2-0. Harris has got a very slow stretch between when he comes set and when he delivers the pitch. That gap about 5 seconds on the last ball he threw to Jason Walk. Corner infielders play in. Now Hakopian backs up behind the first base bag. 2-0. And a fastball right down Broadway for a strike.
Because Harris's delivery is so long, I'm kind of surprised that we didn't see Federico try to steal, but probably not going for the double steal here, so I guess all bets are off in that case.
A double play in effect, and the infield shifts accordingly. The lefty Jason Walk at the plate. Federico on second, 2-1. Skips into the catcher Garrett Wright. 3-1 to the center fielder. A switch hitter batting from the left side for the 3rd of 4 at-bats. He switched to the right side of the dish for the 5th, and he roped a single the other way into a serious shift. It's not quite as aggressive here. 1 out, the 3-1. Misses at the letters, and the bags are juiced for Hyannis for the first time all game long as Jason Walk works a 5-pitch walk.
And what's really impressive is the difference in at-bats that the Harbor Hawks are taking this inning. It seems like they have a lot less of an aggressive mindset, and it's really playing to their favor as they're making Y-D work. You know, Y-D's very good at limiting walks. I mentioned the 3.8 walks per 9 going into this game, but an opportunity with the best guys coming up in Ryan McKay.
McKay, known for working walks at Michigan State. A rising junior led the Spartans with 46 of them. With 1 out, the bases loaded. It's a 3-2 Red Sox lead here in the top of the 7th. The righty Zach Harris atop of the rubber. And now Garrett Wright, his battery, pops out of his crouch and slowly walks towards the mound for a brief meeting before pitching to Ryan McKay. McKay swings it from the left side and roped a single in his first at-bat in the 1st inning, but has struck out and grounded out since. Jackson Willits waits on deck. He's 0 for 3.
And with that single, it extended a hit streak to 8 straight games for Ryan McKay. He has seriously been on a heater. 16-game on-base streak. That extends back to his spring season with Michigan State. He's been so good, so solid, so consistent.
Ryan McKay missed yesterday. At Orleans on Friday, went 2 for 3 with an RBI single and a sac fly. Since he lost the puck on the bottom of his background, we've talked about this ad nauseum, both on Friday and in the past. He is absolutely raked. That puck was on the bottom butt of his bat and helped him with his swing speed. He was 6 for 8 going into the Orleans game with 4 RBI since dropping the puck. First pitch to him. Breaking ball that just misses that outer corner, 1-0. At Orleans, he ups that to 8 of 11 with an RBI single. And with the results today, he's got a 9th hit since dropping the puck. One out, the bases loaded for him. The lefty ready, the righty deals. 1-0 just drifts outside, 2-0.
And the difference in these at-bats is that the pressure is now on the Y-D pitching staff, and that has not been the case all day long. It's been on the Harbor Hawks hitters with nobody on base, but now Hyannis making them work.
Zach Harris trying to avoid relinquishing the lead. Harbor Hawks on all bases, the 2-0. McKay slaps it towards third. Scooped on a hop by Bell. Over to second for 1, over to first for the double play. Hyannis leaves the bases loaded on a twin killing as Ryan McKay grounds out 5-4-3, and this score stays right where it is. Just 1 hit in that inning, no runs, and all 3 of them left on base as we head to the bottom of the 7th.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group. Protecting the possible.
Hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. That's a no-brainer for every player.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
We hope you got up and stretched with us on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. Time for the bottom of the 7th, and at a lightless Red Wilson Field, things are getting dark. The sky beginning to gray as it rolls over the trees in straightaway center field, but it's still a 3-2 ball game in favor of the home team, the East Division leading Y-D Red Sox, who are seeking their 9th win in a row against a Harbor Hawk team who's at 8-3-1 atop the West. So a battle of the 2 division-leading teams early in the season here at Red Wilson Field. Giovanni Collada with Graham Nash and Max Schwartzberg on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. It's 1-2-3 due up for the Y-D Red Sox to face the lefty Santi Garcia out for his 3rd inning of work. First up, the lefty Braden Dowd playing right field, the leadoff man, lefty on lefty. First pitch. Fastball fouled back into the catcher Stone Lawless, 0-1. Dowd is 0 for 3 today with strikeouts in his first 2 at-bats and a ground out in the 4th. Garcia quickly back atop the bump. He shakes off the first sign, now takes a breath and dishes. Sails it high. Lawless does not even spring out of his crouch as it skips to the backstop. The ball on a strike.
We've seen that similar miss a couple times with the breaking ball. Garcia just seems to consistently lose the handle when trying to start it at the top of the zone and get it to fall down to the lower half of the strike zone.
Dowd ready in the lefty box, the 1-1. Muscled down the first base line. It bounces foul by the first baseman, Gabe Camacho, 1-2.
He went really far in on the hands right there, trying to keep Dowd off balance. Prolific leadoff hitter who struggled so far on the Cape. And Garcia going to keep him at bay.
He's set from the stretch. He takes a breath and deals. And the breaking ball clips the outer corner. Strike 3. Just the second strikeout looking, as that's the 10th of the evening for Hyannis, and the first out of the bottom of the 7th.
Well, the Harbor Hawks came in with the 10.7 strikeouts per 9, and this is why you can basically pencil in double digits every night. It's so impressive, and folks know that is not normal for a normal team.
Carson Yasa got it started. The starter fanned 6 2 2/3, and that's the third for Garcia. The first pitch to Avery Ortiz, a foul ball over the netting. Lawless drops the mask, backs to the dish, and gloves out number 2. One pitch and a second out for Santi Garcia as he looks to face the minimum for the second frame tonight.
Well, I was positive that I had a chance at that one. You saw I immediately sprang out of the crouch. Darn it.
And now a dangerous hitter at the plate. Among the hardest outs in the order, he hasn't been that tonight. It's Chris Hakopian. Walked in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third, struck out in the 5th. There are 2 outs and no one on here in the 7th. He's up again. First pitch, and the lefty Garcia deals inside on the breaking ball, 1-0. But Hakopian's so dangerous due to his ability to leave the yard from anywhere. He had 20 home runs at Maryland this year, on his way to Texas A&M in the transfer portal. 1-0. Fastball paints that inside corner, 1-1. And Garcia, known to inherit trouble in his previous 2 appearances for Hyannis this year. He inherited the bases loaded at Bourne on June 19th. 1-1. Skips into Lawless and goes past him to the backstop. 2-1 to Chris Hakopian. And Garcia worked himself into and out of a bases loaded jam on June 24th against Falmouth, his last appearance for the Harbor Hawks. The lefty out of Oregon, a rising sophomore. With 2 outs and no one on, the 2-1. He's launched into center field. Jason Walk backs to the track, puts his heels on the outfield dirt, and gloves out number 3. A second straight 1-2-3 inning for Santi Garcia of Hyannis, and this score stays right where it is at 3-2. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base in the bottom of the 7th for the Red Sox as we head to the bottom of the 8th here at Red Wilson Field. But first, our sideline reporter and producer Sam Montag joins us for some more information on Jackson Willits.
Thanks, Gio. That's right. Jackson Willits has some of the best plate discipline possibly in the entire league right now. We talk often in the booth about how if you succeed just 3 out of every 10 times, you are considered a great player in baseball. Well, Jackson Willits is walking more than 3 out of every 10 times that he steps up to the plate. He has an unheard of 500 OBP, and that's including his definitely struggles tonight. He's 0 for 3 right now, but with a player like Willits, you know that when he's stepping up to the plate, he always has a chance of getting on. He does such a good job of keeping the zone tight. He never expands, and it's because of that plate discipline that he has the highest OBP in the entire league and always has a chance to get on base. Thanks so much. Back to you.
Well, thank you, Sam. And Willits, a great player to have due up here to start the 8th inning at Red Wilson Field. Remember, no lights here at Red Wilson Field. We're just 2 hours and 19 minutes into the game, an hour away from the sun setting. So it looks like we're going to get through a couple more frames here. Just 6 outs remain for both sides. It's a 3-2 lead for the Y-D Red Sox. A new pitcher toes the rubber for Scott Pickler and Y-D. As he'll face the league's leader in walks. And the new arm is Bo Rudy, a rising sophomore from Chickamauga, Georgia, moving from Kennesaw State to Tennessee in the transfer portal. A 3.16 ERA for Kennesaw State, he's a rising junior, following up a 2.78 ERA his freshman year. A rough finish, and it ballooned Graham to that 3.16. He was sub-3 entering that final game of the year, but in Kennesaw State's season finale against Western Kentucky, he allowed 2 runs in just 1 2/3. First pitch to Jackson Willits is a strike with a fastball. Dots the inner corner, 0-1.
And he's got a chance now to kind of turn things around, get off to a good start against Hyannis, the best hitting team in the league.
Willits swings through the 0-1 deal. It's 0-2. And Willits, an uncharacteristic night at the plate, as Sam mentioned, 0 for 3 with a strikeout in the 5th. This is the league's leader in walks due up, without one tonight. 0-2 is clubbed towards second base on a hop. Baker spins, fires down to a knee. He does not get the out at first base as Chris Hakopian got his foot back to the bag, but Willits legs out an infield single.
Well, kind of going back to what our producer/sideline reporter Sam Montag talks about, the guy just gets on base. The OBP over 500, and that's why. He doesn't even have to leave the infield. He'll leg it out for an infield single.
And that play, a tall order for second baseman Will Baker. A screamer that hops into his glove. The right-handed thrower turns around, brings himself down to a knee to adjust to the hop before firing to first. Just late for Chris Hakopian. Pickoff attempt at first for Bo Rudy. Not in time, as Willits is aboard for the first time today on that infield single. And now Gabe Camacho, the lefty first baseman, will try to plate him. Hyannis trails Y-D 3-2, top 8. The first ball to Camacho skips into Garrett Wright, 1-0. Wright popped out of his crouch to look at Willits at first base. Willits has got 4 stolen bases in 7 games. He's yet to be caught stealing as a Harbor Hawk. We talk about Willits, a Cape League veteran, 1-0. Is lifted foul down the third base line. The left fielder Saldra giving it chase, but he watches it bounce over the fence out of play. 1-1. And Willits, an Cape League All-Star with Falmouth last year, Graham. And that experience and that success has to have fueled his hot start to this summer.
Absolutely. You know what you're getting yourself into with the Cape League. It's the best ball players all coming together for the summer.
Camacho swings through a 1-1. He's down 1 ball, 2 strikes. The first baseman out of UC San Diego is 1 for 3. He singled in the 4th inning and advanced to third on a pair of wild pitches from Dylan Tate, the starter, but was eventually stranded. Nobody out, just Willits on first. A 3-2 ball game in the top of the 8th. 1-2. And fastball misses at the letters, and Camacho dodges out of the way. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And just to finish the thought on Willits, he kind of didn't start, frankly, for a while. At the start of the season, he was just taking BP. He didn't play, and he came in red hot.
2-2. Fastball just drifts outside, and a full count to Gabe Camacho with no one out and Willits on. Bo Rudy takes over for Zach Harris. Retoes the rubber, peers in for his sign from Garrett Wright. Renders a glance at first, now turns and fires on the pickoff, and Willits chugs in safely. Hyannis trailing Y-D 3-2 in the top of the 8th. The Hawks have out-hit the home team 6-4, while the Red Sox have committed 1 more error, 2-1. 3-2. It's roped into right field. He drops it. It's a base hit. Willits takes a wide turn around second. He's headed for third. He gets the wave from Mitch Carricker. The cutoff comes in, and the throw home is so late. It goes back to third, actually, as Camacho slides in with an RBI triple and a level ball game in the top of the 8th.
Gabe Camacho, he has looked great today. He had that single back in the 4th inning, but how about that line out to deep center in the 6th? It was only a matter of time, I feel like.
Really leveled the score. It's 3-3, and the first triple of the year for Hyannis. And Gabe Camacho stands at third, 90 feet from the go-ahead run. Ray Velasquez at the plate. Swings through the breaking ball, and he's quickly down, and he's down 0-1.
100 miles an hour off the bat of Gabe Camacho. We've seen a fair share of hard hit balls today.
Correct myself there. Chris Rembert had a triple for Hyannis this season, but it is indeed the first RBI triple for Gabe Camacho. He's at third, still no one out, 0-1. Fastball drifts inside, and Velasquez lays off it. A 1-1 count to the Austin P. Governor. Velasquez batting 5th, and the righty is 0 for 2 tonight with a walk in the 4th. Next pitch fouled right back at us on the first base line, 1-2. It feels like a triple or a hard hit like that, Graham, was due for Camacho. Not surprised, given his batting practice, that came 100 miles an hour off the bat.
Not surprising at all. He's got so much power, and we've seen it in a couple games where he's had some really hard hit singles. It just hasn't nestled into an alley where he's been able to turn it.
1-2, swing and a miss for strike 3. Rudy beats him with the fastball, and it's his first retired Harbor Hawk of the outing, as well as the first out of the top of the 8th. Ray Velasquez meets with Andrew Williamson before he's retired, as well as Gelfer's notes to the man on deck, Stone Lawless. Williamson digs in, trying not to strand Gabe Camacho at third. Still one out here in the top of the eighth. And it was Camacho's RBI triple that's leveled the score at 3 between Y-D and Hyannis. Bo Rudy atop the bump. The pitch is lifted high in the air, deep to left field. A.J. Soldra back on it, playable for Camacho. He tags and races home. The cutoff comes in straight to the plate. It hits Camacho, who slides in safely. And that's a 4th run for Hyannis as it hit him after he slid into the bag. And it's 4-3 Harbor Hawks.
I was going to say that was a very aggressive send by Mitch Carricker, but a good one considering the situation of the game. And Camacho, they teach you to stay right in that base path because that's when the ball comes in. And it works to the advantage because he would have been dead to rights.
And just like that, 4 unanswered runs for Hyannis, despite a 2-inning delay in scoring after a couple of runs played it across in the top of the 5th. First ball to Stone Lawless. A 1-0 to the man that got it started with a solo shot in the top of the 5th on the first ball he saw from Dylan Tate in that inning. Now Bo Rudy in the windup after starting the inning in the stretch. He fires. 1-0 foul down the third base line, 1-1. 2 outs, no one aboard after Camacho cleared the bases himself. It was a single for Jackson Willits to get it started here in the 8th. An RBI triple to tie the game from Gabe Camacho. And a sacrifice fly from Andrew Williamson. Rudy's got his sign. He throws. Fastball paints the inner corner, 1-2. Hayden Federico waits on deck. A 2-out seed continue the rally here for Hyannis, who have just taken the lead after trailing 3-0 at one point in this game. 1-2. Fouled back to the screen. We'll do it again for Stone Lawless.
Lawless hanging tough. He can do that. I mean, he's got a good eye. He's got a lot of power. That's really what we've seen more of from him in his early ball games with Hyannis, but he's got good plate discipline as well.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A couple of strikeouts for Bo Rudy, but he does allow 2 runs to come across. An RBI triple from Gabe Camacho, a sac fly from Andrew Williamson. 2 hits, 2 runs, no errors, and no one left on base. We head to the bottom of the 8th with Hyannis leading for the first time today.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings, they are ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Wilson Field and Hyannis has just surged ahead for its first lead of the ball game at 4-3. Harbor Hawks at one point trailed this game 3-0. And now an RBI triple from Gabe Camacho sends home Jackson Willits. A sac fly from Andrew Williamson plates the aforementioned Camacho. And it's the onus now on the Y-D Red Sox to get themselves back into this game. Let's go around the league very briefly before we get to the 4, 5, and 6 up for Y-D. Bourne loses to Cotuit 6-4. Orleans defeats Harwich 4-3. Oh, I'm reading the wrong day's scores, folks. These games are all live. We'll get you around the league in the middle of this at-bat from A.J. Soldra. It's a 3-2 Brewster lead over Cotuit in the top of the 8th. 4-3 here at Red Wilson Field. 3-1 Chatham at Guff Fuller Field against Falmouth. Santi Garcia atop the bump, first pitch. Spurring to bunt. Soldra fouls it down the third base line, 0-1. A 1-0 Harwich lead over Bourne at Doran Park. And a 2-1 Wareham lead over the Firebirds in Orleans. Here at Red Wilson Field, 4-3 Hyannis, an 0-1 count to A.J. Soldra. Breaking ball misses low, a ball and a strike.
And this is the longest that we've seen Garcia go in an appearance this summer with the Harbor Hawks. But Mitch Carricker sees no problem with him continuing to go if he keeps Y-D scoreless.
Nobody out, nobody on. Bottom of the 8th, 4-3, 1-1. Sorted foul, playable for Velasquez with a backhand. He makes out number 1. Scampering towards the Y-D bullpen. And that, a nice help for Santi Garcia.
It was one of the weirdest pop flyouts that I've seen in foul territory. It came off the bat looking like it was going to rapidly cut away from the infield and go foul. Instead, it just kind of hung up there in the air and gave Velasquez plenty of time to go over. Frankly, just based off of the situation and the contact, a little unlucky for Soldra.
Now the 5-hole Manuel Gasparino. And takes a first pitch fastball inside, 1-0. Gasparino up for a 4th time today. Struck out in the 2nd, started a rally with a leadoff walk in the 4th, and flew out in the 6th. 1-0. Shot right down and foul, 1-1. And now Gasparino comes to the dish with no one out, with 1 out and no one on. In a year for Texas where he hit the home run very effectively, so one swing of the bat could level this game at 4 in the bottom of the 8th. Lefty Garcia set from the stretch, the righty Gasparino takes the 1-1. It skips into Stone Lawless. He loses the mask momentarily, throws the baseball back to Santi Garcia, and now puts on his orange and black Tennessee mask and is back into his crouch. Gasparino, the righty, digs in for the 2-1. He stands at 6'6". 2-1. Fastball drifts inside. 3-1 to Gasparino.
That's not the miss that Garcia wanted. Wanted to paint the outside corner, but he missed too high. We've seen that pretty common tonight with the breaking ball and the fastball up and away.
Trying to work himself on base here. Spark a rally with the walk. 3-1. He chops it towards short. High hop for Willits. He clutches and fires to first. Camacho stretches for out number 2. Quick couple of outs for Santi Garcia. 2 up and 2 down as he comes out for his 4th inning of work.
And that's a big second out because, like you said, Gasparino can level it with one swing of the bat, and he was fighting well in that count. He was ahead for the majority of it. So for Garcia to come back and get that ground out, that's very, very big.
To put it into perspective, Gasparino began the month of April with 7 homers in 6 games, and the Longhorns were 5-1 during that span. 2 outs for Will Baker. The lefty swings through the first offering from Santi Garcia, 0-1. The Bakers had an eventful day at the plate. Reached base all 3 times, just 1 at-bat, though, with the single in the 4th. A pair of walks flank it. Corner infielders in. 0-1. He taps softly towards short. Backhanded field from Willits. He stumbles with the clutch, but fires to first in time. 3 up and 3 down for Santi Garcia. He's working swimmingly through the lineup. A couple of 1-2-3 frames in a row for the Oregon Duck. We head to the top of the 9th. It's 4-3 Hyannis. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no one left on base for Y-D in that inning. They've got just 3 outs to keep an 8-game win streak alive here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
3 outs remain for both sides in this best-on-best matchup at Red Wilson Field. It's the top of the 9th, and the Y-D Red Sox are switching pitchers as the best team in the East, trailing Hyannis 4-3. They'll give the ball to Ryan Renfro, the Kennesaw State Owl, coming in for the first time this year. That ERA was up near 7 to finish his sophomore season for Kennesaw State, 368 in his freshman year. Season highs and high in strikeouts. He struck out as many batters as 5 in a game this year. Not a big missing the bats guy, Graham, but he did go 4 consecutive appearances in early May hitless.
It's an impressive stat line. I mean, he's clearly got good stuff. He's a righty on the mound, which is interesting because you got a lot of lefties in this Hyannis order. You got a couple switch hitters as well, so that might not actually be favoring him. And whereas, you know, he might expect that it would because you're used to facing a lot of righties in these kind of matchups. But it's a lot of lefties, a lot of switch hitters, which honestly favors Hyannis.
And it's 2 switch hitters flanking a lefty in the Hyannis Harbor Hawks due up for Mitch Carricker. It's Hayden Federico, the 8-hole hitter, playing left field. He's batted every at-bat. He comes to the plate every time tonight from the left side, and it appears that's what he'll do here. Jeff Luigi waits on deck, the DH lefty, and then flip the order for a 5th time in this game as the switch-hitting center fielder Jason Walk is in the hole. 4-3 Hyannis lead. Hayden Federico, the first batter, top of the 9th. First pitch from Renfro. A fastball that misses at the letters and inside, 1-0. Renfro stands 6'3", 195. The righty hails out of Thomasville, Georgia. Federico out of West Monroe, Louisiana. He's ahead 1-0, the pitch. Another fastball, similar spot, 2-0, another miss at the letters.
And you're looking for insurance, so 2-0 count. He'll be sitting dead red, but if it's not a pitch that he loves, he'll probably take.
Federico's walked in each of his last 2 at-bats. Renfro works from the stretch, the 2-0. Another fastball high at the letters, 3-0 on 3 very similar pitches.
And he's been so patient all day long. Already has the 2 walks. He is more than happy to just take 4 or 5 pitches and walk over to first base.
Federico takes a breath as he digs in, while Renfro peers in for his sign from Garrett Wright, his battery. Shakes off the first 2, now nods for the 3rd. 3-0. Fastball right down Broadway, strike 1. 2 runs in the 8th inning, last time up for Hyannis on an RBI triple from Gabe Camacho that drove in Jackson Willits to tie the game. Sacrifice fly from Andrew Williamson gave Hyannis the 4-3 lead. Top of the 9th, 3-1. Chop towards first. Hakopian fields on a hop, spins and fires to first. His pitcher comes over for the cover, and 1 out here in the top of the 9th as Renfro steps on first.
Now batting for Hyannis, the designated hitter.
Brings up the 9-man Jeff Luigi, who's had a productive last couple of at-bats after a flyout in the 3rd. He reached on a fielder's choice, scored the run in the 5th on the pickoff attempt error from Zach Harris, and singled in the 7th, but was stranded. The lefty digs in, crouches as he faces Renfro for a first time. 1 out, no one aboard. First pitch. A fastball right over the heart, strike 1.
And we've talked about the fast starts for Willits and Camacho, but how about Luigi? Yesterday's game got a hit in his 1, registered at bat, also drew a walk. Today, that fielder's choice in a single, he's red hot.
0-1, a fastball, similar spot, right down the line, 0-2. And Luigi now in danger of missing base for a first time in those last 2 at-bats. The rising sophomore out of Duke was the PA Player of the Year at Mechanicsburg. He swings through the 3rd offering, strike 3. 2 up, 2 down for Ryan Renfro in relief of Bo Rudy. And the Red Sox an out away from getting it to the bottom of the 9th as they trail Hyannis 4-3.
This is exactly what they needed. They needed 3 quick outs to get their bats right back up to the plate because Hyannis, they can get it going in the drop of a hat.
It's just the 6K of the day for the Red Sox. 5 of them swinging. First pitch to Jason Walk. A strike on the inner corner, 0-1. Walk up for a 5th time today as Hyannis flips the order. The leadoff man swings it from the left side, but he is a switch hitter. 0-1. Skips in past Garrett Wright. Battery barely moves, and it's 1-1. White walked in the 7th, singled in the 5th, but was stranded and flew out and struck out before that. The Oklahoma Sooner, rising junior, 1-1. He ropes this into right field. It drops and will roll back into the corner. The right fielder, Braden Dowd, on to cover as Walk rounds first and steams into second base with a 2-out double. And now up comes Ryan McKay, Graham. This is a dangerous situation for Renfroe and Y-D.
It really is, but honestly, Ryan McKay kind of cooled off since that single that he hit in the first. Strikeout, ground out, and ground into a double play. So even though it is very dangerous, because McKay on that 8-game hit streak, he's kind of cooled down in this ball game as of late. So if you're Renfroe, obviously you need to stay super sharp and stay locked in, but it's not the worst scenario that you could create at this point.
First pitch breaking ball, clips the inside corner for strike 1. Jason Walk on second after that 2-out double. The infield shifts the lefty second baseman Ryan McKay to pull, with the first baseman Hakopian putting his heels on the outfield grass. Renfroe looks back at second twice now. Now disengages as he steps off the rubber, as does McKay in the lefty box. An 8-game hit streak for McKay extended tonight. Single in his inaugural at-bat. And now the balk comes against Ryan Renfroe. Clearly rattled by Walk's 2-out double. Disengaged and now balks to move Jason Walk to third. 90 feet from insurance for Hyannis with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning.
Also just rattled by the dancing that Walk was doing over at second base. He never stops moving when he's on second or third base. And guarantee after that, he's going to do more dancing than ever at third.
Walk has stolen bases in each of his last 2 games. 0-1. McKay takes a fastball on the inside corner, and Renfroe's a strike away. 2 outs, just Jason Walk on third base, 90 feet from a 5th run for Hyannis here in the top of the 9th. It would stretch the lead to 2 over Y-D. Renfroe puts his glove to his hat to get his sign through his pitch comm. Now comes set from the stretch. He fires. McKay skies this high into shallow right field. A bunch of Red Sox on it, but it's the center fielder Gasparino that gloves the third and final out of the inning. Ryan Renfroe strands a runner at third base. He faces 1 above the minimum in relief of Bo Rudy and sends it to the bottom of the 9th for his batters. Just 3 outs remain for Y-D with the visiting Harbor Hawks ahead 4-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base as we enter the final frame here at Red Wilson Field.
When you need to dig, lift, move, cut, or just about anything else, then dial up the Rental Source staffed with equipment and construction experts. They'll help you get the right machine for the job and make sure it's delivered when and where you need it. With locations across New England and the newest and most reliable inventory, Milton Rents is your local source.
When I started teaching on the Cape 30 years ago, you could buy a house on a teacher's salary. But today, teachers, public safety officers, healthcare and hospitality workers, the people who make the Cape work, are struggling to find homes they can afford. And I really worry about the kids who will follow us. I think it's time we learn to do better.
If housing on Cape Cod matters to you, join us at capehousingmatters.org.
Just 3 outs remain for the Y-D Red Sox to avoid snapping an 8-game win streak that it brought into this game against Hyannis. 1 above the minimum in the top of the 9th for Ryan Renfroe. He did his job. And with the Red Sox trailing the Harbor Hawks 4-3, Mitch Carricker for Hyannis is turning to his closer, Ryan Speciuk, the rising junior out of Goleta, California. The closer for the Stanford Cardinal has come into 5 games so far this season, primarily as the closer, and last entered a bases-loaded jam at Falmouth. And in 1 2/3, struck out 2 Commodores in the 8th and effectively sealed a 5-2 win out in Falmouth. At Katuitt, he comes in a 1-out, 2-on jam with Hyannis only up 3-1. He gets the next 5 outs to seal it, and now Ryan Speciak, Graham, comes into this game not asked for a 5-out save after delivering 2 such saves prior for Mitch Carricker.
Yeah, it's probably feeling pretty easy for him at this point. He only needs 3 outs with nobody on. He's already got 3 saves to his name this season already. I mean, making 4 appearances, getting 3 saves, I think that's all you really got to say about a guy. In that game against Falmouth, he threw 29 pitches, 18 of them were strikes. So he just peppers the zone all day long.
And Speciak comes in taking the ball from Santi Garcia, Max, who delivered 2 1-2-3 frames before leaving.
I mean, he was lights out. 4 innings, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He did what Mitch Carricker needed him to do. Extended innings and limit runs. Didn't allow a single one.
7, 8, 9 to the dish for Scott Pickler and Y-D in this bottom of the 9th. And Pickler in his 27th season at the helm of the Red Sox. And his squad trails the visiting Harbor Hawks 4-3. First in the West, Hyannis versus first in the East, Y-D. Down to the final 3 outs. First pitch. Swing and a miss at the breaking ball. 0-1. The catcher, Garrett Wright, swings it from the right side, rather. And in that 7-hole today, he was hit by a pitch in the 7th, singled in the 4th, but was stranded and flew out in the 6th. 0-1. Skips into Stone Lawless and gets by to the backstop. 1-1. Garrett Wright, battery for Y-D pitching today, transferring from Bowling Green to Tennessee after 2 years at Bowling Green. RBI single yesterday against Wareham. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Another breaking ball. Another fooled Red Sox batsman. This time the first for Ryan Speciak as he seeks his first K of the outing. No one on, no one out. Bottom of the 9th, a 4-3 Hyannis lead over Y-D. Corner infielders back with their heels on the outfield grass. 1-2. Broken bat past the pitcher Speciak to the second baseman McKay. A clutch, a throw, 1 out. Ryan Speciak doing what he does, at least to start. He works a 1-2 count and induces the ground out to second base for Garrett Wright.
Went in on the hands, and there goes the shillelagh. You love to see the weak contact right there, and Speciak really getting up in his grill.
Now the lefty Jack Bell, the third baseman, batting 8th. 1 for 2 with a single in the 4th, a strikeout in that 2nd, a walk in the 6th. And he has the onerous task of facing Ryan Speciak in a 9th inning. First ball to him. A fastball right down the heart for strike 1. And Speciak, as we mentioned, Graham, asked for a couple of 5-out saves in a row. 28 and 29 pitches in each of his last 2 outings. 0-1. Skips it into Stone Lawless. The count levels a ball and a strike.
And he's probably throwing harder than he has this entire season because he knows he just needs to get 3. In the past, he's come in that 7th, that 8th inning, not the 9th. And so now he kind of has free reign to let everything loose and leave it all out there.
1 out, no one on for Jack Bell out of TCU. 1-1. Speciak's breaking ball finds the zone. 1-2. For Mitch Carricker, it's been closing by committee this season. We've seen Carson Yassa do that job quite a bit. He started the game with 2 2/3, fanned 6 Red Sox batters. But Speciak firmly established himself as the guy. 1-2. Sails high above the letters. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Bell, the native of Corpus Christi, Texas, will try to extend a win streak for Y-D that spanned 8 games. After a 1-2-1 start to the year, they lead the East Division 2.5 games clear of Brewster. 2-2. Breaking ball misses at the knees, and a full count to Jack Bell.
Speciak's fastball right now coming in around 94, 96. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes right back to it because the breaking balls have missed.
Speciak's got a heater that tops at 95. 1 out, no one on. He's set for the windup. Glove at his face. The dish on 3-2. Clubbed foul, third base side and out of play. We'll do it again. You can feel the tension in the Y-D dugout. It's not a momentous loss, but it is one that indicates the Red Sox' ability to play in these big games. First time all season where the leaders in the West and the East Division have faced off in the Cape Cod Baseball League. And Hyannis trying to make a statement. 3-2. Low, and that's a walk for ball 4. Jack Bell chucks the bat towards the third base dugout to the tune of roars. And the tying run is aboard for the Red Sox with 1 out in the 9th.
That's a huge walk for Jack Bell because it gives the opportunity for Dowd, the leadoff hitter, to come back up.
We got a pinch hitter into the game now. Coming in for the 9-man Yomar Carreras.
Dean Carpentier.
And Scott Pickler goes to Dean Carpentier. The righty out of Huntington Beach, California. The USC Trojan swings it from the right side. And the first ball to him misses low and inside. 1-0. And for Speciak, it's not like the base runner always spells trouble. Remember, he's gotten out of some pretty difficult jams this season. 1 out, just a man on. 1-0 pitch, swung through by Carpentier. 1-1.
This past year at SC, Carpentier really struggled with pitches inside, specifically fastballs. We know Speciak, of course, that 96 could pull it out of his back pocket in.
A ball and a strike to him, the pitch. Swings to the breaking ball, 1-2. And you mentioned the struggle for Carpentier, Max. He hit .293 in his freshman year at USC. Dropped it to .231 in his sophomore year, despite the fact that the Trojans were back in the tournament for the first time in several years. He digs in from the right side. Speciak's 1-2 is roped into left field. Back on it is Federico, and that ball's off the wall. A wide turn for Jack Bell. He stops at third as Dean Carpentier shakes the struggle for a 1-out double in the 9th inning. Ryan Speciak with a rare relinquished fastball to Dean Carpentier. It hits off the base of the wall, and that allows both the tying run and the go-ahead run to move into scoring position with just 1 gone.
Well, the media room thought it was a home run. They played the home run horn during the play.
Just a few feet short. It sent Hayden Federico, likely holding his breath, to the base of the wall. And now Y-D flips the order. A team that hasn't lost since June 17th. Trying to keep the streak alive here at their home turf. It was a fast start for Y-D, 3 runs in the 4th inning. Hyannis claimed 2 right back in the top of the 5th. The Harbor Hawks went ahead and took the lead in the 8th inning with 2 more runs, and now Y-D threatening here as they'll walk the leadoff man, Braden Dowd.
Now batting for Y-D.
Another intentional walk this season. Hyannis, this is the first time it's dish 1 out. Stone Lawless was intentionally walked in the 7th inning on Friday against Orleans. And now the bases loaded, this clearly for the double play ball, Graham.
Yeah, trying to get that double play, but it's tough letting Dowd go to first because he's had a tough night. He was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts coming into this inning.
So Bell on third, Dean Carpentier on second after the double. First pitch to Avery Ortiz, the DH, low and inside. Speciak goes down 1-0. And it's Braden Dowd intentionally walked at first base. A 4-3 Hyannis lead. Red Sox at every base. Speciak trying to get the save. Topping out at 96 in this game with 1 out. 1-0. Fastball comes, it's roped into center field. Walk on it, but it drops in front of him for a base hit. Here comes 1-1. The throw around for home is not in time. Y-D walks it off in the 9th. Avery Ortiz with the winning hit on a single into center field. And the Red Sox have won 9 games in a row. A 5-4 final here at Wed Wilson Field. Of 5 hits on the night for the Red Sox. The final one, the decisive blow in this heavyweight fight. Best on best, with Hyannis leading the West Division versus Y-D 9-2-1 coming into the game, leading the East. It's the latter that escapes with a walk-off win in the 9th inning. An enraged Ryan Speciak walks towards the dugout. he had yet to relinquish a run this season. Made the 2 prior saves he was asked for, both of them 5 outs from Mitch Carricker. He loads the bases in the bottom of the 9th here against Y-D, and Avery Ortiz makes him pay.
And it was just a well-hit ball right back up the middle, dropped in front of Jason Walk, and the base runners seemed to know it from the jump that was going to be exactly what they needed, because the base runner at second, that was Carreras, was basically on the tail of Bell as he rounded third. They were coming 1 and 2 right into home. They didn't skip a beat, and Y-D with an impressive 9-game win streak.
Hyannis on the other side of a walk-off for the first time all year. They'll drop to 8. It'll drop to 8-4-1. Meanwhile, Y-D, the first team on the Cape to 10 wins this summer after a 1-2-1 start. Now 9 in a row for the Red Sox, and a walk-off RBI single from Avery, rather 2 RBI single from Avery Ortiz. But Dean Carpentier got it started after Speciak sent that first batter down. Jack Bell works the walk. Carpentier pinch hits for Yomar Carreras and lines that double to the foot of the wall and left field. Braden Dowd intentionally walked, and Avery Ortiz with the decisive hit to win the game for the Red Sox. Max, this a difficult way to lose for Hyannis. Its 4th game of the summer, but not one that it'll imagine it'll be in, or rather not a position that Hyannis imagines it'll be in much more this summer.
And this could be a future playoff matchup. Very impressive on both sides. It was a great game all around. You know, Hyannis was pretty high on the walks, but that today wasn't the deciding factor. Of course, that big walk towards the end coming in across as the winning run, but for the Harbor Hawks, you really like to see the grit. They fought back behind 3-0, but still a tough one at the end of the night, Gio.
And a 5-4 final here at Red Wilson Field. 8 hits for Hyannis, just 5 for Yarmouth Dennis. And Ryan Speciak atop the bump. Avery Ortiz with the walk-off 2 RBI single to end it. For all of us here at the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network, we thank you so much for tuning in tonight. For our wonderful production team of Sam Montag, Daniel Bottolino, and Charlie Adams. For our sideline reporters today, Ava Fernandez and Sam Montag as well, making his sideline reporting debut here on the Harbor Hawks Baseball Network. For my partners, Max Schwartzberg and Graham Nash, I'm Giovanni Collada saying so long. It's been a heck of a night. We will see you on Tuesday.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.